Everybody, welcome to the GameKraft GameKast on thegameaccess.com. I am your host, Bronson Fiore, joined by
Anthony Ta,
Ashton Holiday,
and Joe Litz.
How are you gentlemen doing this evening? This fine Friday evening.
I love our pauses. Like we just realized, oh God, it's our turn. We have to say our names. What's my name? Oh, Mario. I don't know.
One thing that I'd like to bring up first, though, was before the podcast, we were talking about Sega, and we're talking about the Sega theme, their intro for the Genesis. Sega. When on 3, I want us to all do that, okay? On 3. Not 3, then go on 3.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Sega.
God.
Oh God.
That was terrible. That was
When
the
we're on a
most
Skype
Sega
call,
I've
there.
ever heard.
No,
When
I think we need to be together. as
No,
a group.
when we are doing Skype calls, latency will not let us do that.
Yeah,
Lag will screw it up.
Skype will always ruin that. But beyond that, we need like tabs. You think there's some like guitar tabs for the Sega logo sound?
Probably someone. Look on the internet and you'll find it.
Got the whole internet right in front of me. It's a world of information. I'm gonna see if I can. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Oh,
That's right. I was researching Pokemon on my last save. All right.
all right.
Sega tabs.
One thing that I want to know though is how you guys been doing? What have you been up to in the past week?
Total silence.
Total. It just massive amounts of work.
Non-stop action.
Non-stop work piling up is what happened in the last weekend.
So exciting.
Joe and I went to something pretty exciting last Saturday though.
Let's hear about it.
Pagan Pride Day.
Oh yeah.
Boy,
You guys pagans?
No. We sure went to Pegan Pride Day.
You're just prideful of the existence of pagans.
Yeah, dude, sure.
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
know.
We were just interested in seeing it. And basically what it was a bunch of old hippies.
Is
And,
that about right?
and a couple of dudes dressed like pirates who are the Pirates of Reno. And
Yeah,
one-
there's like a league of pirates.
What?
In Reno.
yeah, there's a thing in Reno that you
Yeah,
can find.
Did you get me an application form?
I will look them up on the internet later. But
Imagine if Pagan Day was on Talk Like a Pirate Day.
one of our friends is actually a pirate of Reno, though, Tori.
Well, there we go.
So, but
All right.
anyway, went to that, and really it was pretty stupid, except for two things. The concert was hilarious. The Bards of Avalon, and not hilarious in like, oh, Paul and Storm, they're so funny. Hilarious as in it was so bad, it was funny.
So,
Who
what are the
picked
pagans
the-
all about?
Well, it's just like non-conventional religion type stuff, and more like earthy, hippie-ish stuff, and you
When
could probably call
when I
yourself
think
a
of
pagan
pagans-
if you're not like part of a secular religion.
What? That and so Donovan
Donovan would work.
the
Yeah.
Viking.
Yeah, Donovan would be a pagan.
Yep.
Weird. Whenever I hear pagan, I think of witches, but that's Wiccan.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
That
figure
would
out what
totally be
pagan-
part of it, though.
You
Like
think so?
pagans
Absolutely.
wouldn't care. They would totally take in like Wiccans and witches and all that stuff. That's all totally fine with them. Pagan is really,
Huh.
really broad. Really, really broad.
Weird. All right. Well, what was the other thing other than the band?
Well, Joe, I want you to elaborate on how bad this band was before we continue.
Yeah, well, we left. We went to Pegan Pride Day like right when it started, but then we left because it's not that big, and nothing was really going on. We came back to see the Bards of Avalon because they were going to have a concert.
The name got us hyped.
Yeah, we were like,
Right.
oh my god, they're going to be the best. Bards of Avalon. That sounds so awesome.
And man, were we disappointed. Anyway, continue.
It was like six people.
It was 7 people, mostly
7. Yeah,
mostly
It was-
husky girls,
6 girls and 1 dude, and there was
which
like
were very big.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
Now, when you think of a bard, you usually think of a musician who's playing an instrument and singing,
Singing a lot of
tunes that
stories. A lot
yeah,
of stories.
exactly.
You know,
They're
the
stories.
bards in Skyrim. That's what I think of.
That works. Yeah.
That's a perfect example. They play music and they sing stories rather than songs.
Okay.
And
Well-
these bards were more like really, really amateur singers singing over songs that they had on a CD.
Oh man.
Well, like the CD didn't play the lyrics. It was
The CD didn't play the
Oh,
lyrics.
right. It was like a karaoke thing.
Yeah, it was like a karaoke sort of. Like
Holy shit.
they were playing music that they hadn't made themselves, and they were singing
Right.
the words to it.
then there was that interpretive dance thing, which for just dancing around with two bed sheets, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, there was one girl did like a dance thing, and that was the most bardy thing that happened at that concert. That's for sure. But like they were singing like just songs that they just like randomly thought would be like good to sing. Like there wasn't really a big theme to it. There wasn't like all these songs are connected in this way. Like they sang like 2 songs from Pirates of the Caribbean. They sang a song from Harry Potter. The boy oh Doyle in trouble. You know, the one with the fucking Shakespeare, the Shakespeare lines in it, but it's a song. They sang that one, and they sang a couple other. They sang like something by what was it? Why can't I remember? It's that. Oh, this is horrible. It wasn't Nightwish. It was something else that's sort of similar. It's goddamn classic song, but of course I can't remember because
What's really depressing about this is Joe and I are probably better singers than them.
we were.
Man.
That's pretty sad. Like we're Sing Star pros, but I wouldn't like go to American Idol or something. I'm not that good. But these people, oh baby, not too good. We were laughing a lot. And then some girl with a nice butt distracted us, and that was cool too.
Yeah, that I think was the highlight of that show was that girl, that redhead chick with a really nice butt walking by.
Yeah, I don't know about this show, man.
So that's Pegan Pride Day.
What was the other thing? Was there anything beyond the band?
The other cool thing was that right next to this booth that was selling like hats and masks and all sorts of stuff. I bought some banana bread from them. It was pretty tasty. Hey, it was homemade. It was 75 cents. I couldn't say no. It was delicious.
There's probably fun in it, if I had to take a guess.
I don't care. It was delicious. But they had these stocks next to the booth. I don't know if you know what stocks are. It's like the like old timey. Oh God. What you would put like criminals in, and then like you would put them in front of a crowd, and they would throw tomatoes at them and stuff.
Yep.
Those things where your face is showing and your hands are through it, and it's the big wood plank that looks sort of like a director's. God, I can't think of the name for anything.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm sure you know what I mean now. They had the stocks, and you could pay $5 and get a warrant out on whoever you wanted, and the Pirates of Reno would arrest that person and put them in the stocks and like shower them with water and stuff, and it was just pretty cool. I got a picture with them. Bronson took it, and he didn't put it up on Facebook to my.
Sorry, I'll get to
What
it.
an ass.
Yeah, seriously. Like I have a whip around my neck, and like one of the pirates has a paddle and he's about to paddle me, and it's really sexual, and I'm like confused, but I have my thumbs up, like, yeah,
Right.
Like,
what's happening?
Oh God.
Man, I don't know. That it's. Did you
Just-
save the night?
The night was good because we went to Tori's birthday party, which that was pretty fun.
Full of underage women that I felt very bad about
Yeah,
being in the same room with.
Yeah,
It was just like, oh no, this is a bad idea.
it's just like some of you are very attractive, but oh, I feel dirty.
Yeah, you do.
You guys want some beer?
Hey, can I buy you guys cigarettes?
Yeah, there
What'd you get in my car?
There was definitely a lot of people that were under the age of 18, and I was just like, I feel old and creepy.
Most of them were 17-year-old seniors in high school, So I felt
Yeah,
a little.
still.
I still felt a little less dirty because of that, but still really dirty.
Yeah, it was just, it was awkward, just like being there at all. It was just like feels kind of creepy.
We're
in
too
here.
old for
Like
this.
the dude, and what I found really weird is all the dudes there except one were like 18 or older.
Ew.
Yeah, it was just kind of,
Like
just kind of.
yeah. Oh my god, that was funny though. Like Joe had that discussion. Although we had that discussion on the way back, just like God, I felt so just like ugh. And then Ashton here reminded me of the Giant Bomb cast. Jeff's like, I know how to pick up high school girls. Hey, I have a car. Do you need someone to buy you?
Yeah.
That's you.
Yep, you just be their sugar daddy because you have income
man.
and they don't.
Yep.
Super creepy.
Yeah.
Anyway, did anything actually good happen?
They played Gangnam Style on the
Okay, all right.
and Joe and I did the dance. And
I'm really getting tired of that song already. I was tired of it like the second day that it was popular. It's just like, no.
I'm enjoying all the parodies of it, like Gandalf style. But
I'm fine with the song. It's the music video that really does it for me. That is amazing.
Also the fact that I saw a flash mob at PAX of it, and the fact that I saw fucking saw it again like at the Escapist Expo, like on one of their panels. Someone asked, "Will you guys do Gangnam Style?" And all the main content providers on the Escapist, besides Yahtzee, did the fucking.
Well, of course, Yahtzee doesn't.
Yeah, and Yahtzee's like, it's just like some things, just like something about British repression. Some things can't overcome it. It's just, and then he talks to Jim Sterling. It's like the states have changed you, man. But anyway, back to that. But we added like 3 more people to our PAX trip next year.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe like
they sounded pretty enthused about it, which is good news. But we'll see. I mean, they're still high schoolers, so
the good news is by that time they'll be college students and 18. So
yeah, that's the good news. But I mean, just gotta bear in mind that one
parties?
party. What? What not? What?
How are you gonna get them into parties?
Oh well, Joe will be 21.
It's hard as hell getting into parties back at PAX East. I don't know what.
Well, here's the thing. One, I don't go to many parties, and the one party I did go to, they carded you at the bar. So,
we need to go do more parties, man. Next PAX.
Dude, I'm
gonna party it up.
No, dude, I'm gonna do concerts.
I went to the Curse party at PAX East. That was amazing. I loved that.
I went to the Square Enix party and was really depressed at how bad.
Well, you picked the wrong party.
True, but I have fun at the concerts. That's the thing.
Oh sure, but you can also have fun at the party. I went to at the Curse party. They totally had like arcade machines there, and I just sat and played like Galaga. It was really awesome.
Depends on who's throwing the party, but still, like, I don't know. If Giant Bomb does a party at Prime, we'll absolutely go. But
there'll be less of a party and more like a gathering at a bar.
They do one at fucking East that's like pretty huge, I hear, but they don't do one at fucking Prime.
Okay, well, you were busy going to other places.
But yeah, so
I'll party with you, Aaron.
Thanks.
I'll totally party with you. And if I'm not 21 at that time, as in if it's not 2 years from now, then I'll just get a fake ID. I'm a cool guy. I can figure it out.
I don't know.
It costs money, but yeah.
It depends on who the bands are for me. That's the thing.
Right. Well, bands will always appeal to you.
Well, not always. I mean, Sam Hart. I was willing to miss Sam Hart, and I did miss Sam Hart. I was at the Giant Bomb panel. So,
Anyway, anything else happened with your weekend?
No, that party, I tried to make it less awkward by talking to people, but just like but even
you were doing a pro job, Bronson. You were being friendly to everyone.
I'm always friendly to everyone.
I know. It makes me sad because I'm just like the timid, shy dude in the corner who's like, I don't want to talk to anyone. This is too scary.
Yeah, no, like I'll be having a conversation, it'll derail to a different area, then I'll just like turn 180 degrees and be like, so I haven't talked to anyone here for a while, so what's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh god.
Yeah,
I'm
so
too shy. Whoa.
I'll talk to anyone. It's just I'm gonna go get a drink, and I'm gonna go figure out a way to amuse myself.
See, from what I heard is you're gonna go get a drink and pick a corner.
I picked a corner because at that particular party, I had to hold a purse instead of party.
You should.
I had finished my arcade playing, and they had built a line there, so I didn't feel like waiting in the line anymore.
You should have worn the purse while dancing.
I wore the purse, but yeah, that wasn't gonna work. I had not had enough drinks at that time. I found out because I couldn't drink at the bar at the time, so I had to load up before, and I found out as we got there that I did not get enough. And I was not happy about that. And yeah, but all that's solved now. And also, I was a different person, but so much stuff happened between that party and now. So much crap.
I will say that
I would probably handle that situation completely differently now.
The one party that I went to, fucking at Prime, because it was open bar, the line was so fucking long that if you got in line, got your drink, and then immediately gotten back in line, you could have probably got 3 drinks, maybe 4 if you got there really early.
Right. Mm.
Yeah. Which really
Better get something retardedly hard then.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, basically, like when I saw the line, I was just like, no, I'm good. I can go pay $20 for a drink at the Paramount and get hammered. Yeah. Also,
And I feel like when we all go to PAX next time, it's just going to be like, let's get drunk, parties, concerts, video games. What are those?
here's
Dude, no. In this game, you play a frog and you jump across a street. I know, it's crazy. You gotta play it.
No. All right, so here's one pro tip I'm going to give you fine gentlemen right now. If you plan to go to the concerts, bring your own drinks and food and whatnot, because otherwise you're going to be like Quinn and I and pay $6 for a Pepsi.
Oh, God. That's worse than, like, theme parks.
There are multiple levels of in that whole
They
sentence.
know you need it. They know
We
you're
were
desperate.
so tired and wanted to see the rest of the MC Frontalot show. So we were like, well, we need caffeine. Let's go get a fucking Pepsi. Because they didn't have Coke. And
They don't. Who sells it at vendors?
and fucking just, oh my God. I'm like, all right, I'll have a Pepsi. $6, please. Oh, I just felt my heart just go.
Yeah.
I paid for it. I paid $6 for a Pepsi. And the thing is, I know why the Paramount does that is because normally when it's not PAX, it's like a tuxedo type venue, like opera house style place, really classy theater,
Okay.
high society type stuff. PAX is I'm sure the people who work there normally deal with PAX and they're like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Whatever.
Once a year, they all just cater to a completely different audience.
Yep, once a year for 3 days, they have to deal with just totally
Incompetent, loud, obnoxious
gamers.
boys.
And
Yeah.
And women.
well, anyway.
Also, according to Street Pass, 40% of PAX is women. So,
Okay.
fun fact there.
Cool.
I'm cool with that. Oh, Bronson.
Yes.
Remember we were talking about Snafu Con?
Yeah.
Reno's local anime con that I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
That apparently started 2 years ago. I'm going to it.
When?
So if you,
When is it?
next weekend.
How much do tickets cost?
$35 for a weekend pass.
Fuck.
Mm.
I'm going just because, not just because I like anime and I like going to anime cons because cons are fun, but also because, I don't want it to die. I feel like if I go, then it won't die.
Yeah.
Doing your duty as an anime fan.
Yeah, I'm doing my duty duty. Jesus Christ, talk show. My duty as an anime fan in Reno to like support the community, which I usually have 0% interest in, but
You know,
it's here in Reno. Like I feel like I have to support it because
yeah, I feel a certain fucking need to myself. Like I nearly went last year. Quinn went last year, and he's like, "Oh man, his PAX gonna be big. His PAX is obviously bigger, but how big is it?" He just he gamed the fucking PAX, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
no, like I expect this to be a really small con. Like I registered yesterday, and I'm the 910th badge, so it's not a huge con by any means.
I mean, I'll look at their programming schedule. You know,
They don't really have their shit together on their website. Like I can't find a schedule.
Joe, we could learn to ballroom dance.
I saw that, but you have to bring like nice shoes, and I'm not gonna do that.
Oh, yeah. But dude, we could learn the waltz and the tango.
I'm gonna bring my comfy ass tennis shoes
Yeah.
instead.
One of the best decisions I made for PAX this year was I bought new K-Swiss and didn't put them on until I was in Seattle.
Oh.
And oh my god, it was like walking on a cloud all weekend. There's a fucking rave.
Yep.
What?
Dude,
Anime cons always have a rave. Always.
Is it like a regular rave where like half the people are on PCP and just...
It's not quite that cool, but...
So...
Well, I mean, if you come already on E, you walk around and you start thinking everyone's cat people, you know.
Yeah, like you could do that, but I mean, you're not supposed to like. There's like no alcohol. It's an all ages event, so like they don't
you're
serve
not
alcohol
supposed to.
or
That's why you
anything
do
like
it
that.
before.
And that's why you do it before. If you can do it before. I mean, no one can stop you from doing it before. So I mean, there might be, but I sort of doubt it.
I like the name of the DJ for it, DJ Darko.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, these DJs gonna hear some local Reno talent. Because, you know,
well, I mean, it can't.
Reno's really, really known for their swag DJs.
It can't be any worse than Jugga Hill.
It's still in my car.
Yep. Or that really awful DJ at the fucking Square Enix panel who just kept playing really repetitive techno and dubstep. But so far they only have one panel listed. Whose line is it anime?
Okay.
These puns.
I get what they're referencing there. You guys get it? Do you guys get it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
All
right. I'm gonna make sure you got it.
Let's
It'd
see.
be really cool if Drew Carey was just there hosting it for no reason at all.
Wearing cat ears.
Car.
Oh god damn it!
I didn't even hear anything.
Anyway, there's gonna be screening rooms, and apparently there is a hentai room.
That's it's 11 p.m. to like 5 in the morning. They're just gonna show porn in one room. Just kind of made me laugh.
Fuck?
Just cause. Yeah, hentai.
What
Anime porn.
The hell? What?
Yeah.
They just do that?
Because they don't give a fuck, baby.
We have to go to that.
I'm gonna go to it.
Just to say that we went, that just seems like something that no one would ever have the balls to do. Like, no, we're gonna have an entire event where we just watch porn in like this one room. That sounds ridiculous
that
and
sounds
awful.
Really fucking horribly awkward. Because
No. Listen. They obviously it would be like really awkward and horrible if it was like everyone sit quietly and watch this porn. But no, like it's you're supposed to like. It's supposed to be funny in that like you're watching the porn and you're like making jokes about it and like you're not there to masturbate. You're there to make jokes about porn because hentai gets ridiculous.
I would just like to say, I bet you if we go there, Joe, we're gonna walk in and everyone's gonna be silent.
Everyone's silent. Everybody's got like a blanket over them. You can just see it moving.
Oh man.
Just like no.
Shit.
Oh god.
Seriously, I would make a lap around the room, just going no.
Okay,
like slapping people in the face as I go. Why?
a gaming room with Smash Brothers, Dance Dance Revolution, Halo 3, and Rock Band.
Those are probably the small tournaments they're gonna have, because usually in a console gaming room at an anime con, it's like free play all the time, and you just pick a game and you can play it on whatever TVs they have. But then they have like tournaments too.
I don't know. I'm probably not gonna get a weekend pass, but I don't know, $15 to go Friday. I might go with you.
I'm going all 3 days, so whatever.
I mean, 15, not bad. Let's see, but
What else is going on?
Oh, they have the only guest of worth that I don't know the first listed guest they have, but apparently she's like important and stuff. But I don't know her, so she's obviously not that important. Haha.
I will list these guests off for you.
The second guest is the only one that's important, and he's the voice actor of Krillin from Dragon Ball. He's the voice actor of Maze Hughes from Fullmetal Alchemist. Usopp from One Piece. He's the voice actor of Tom from Toonami, the robot.
Oh, dude.
So
and he does a ton of other stuff.
Straight.
Yeah, he does a ton of stuff, and he's gonna be there. So I'm gonna get something signed.
Let's see. The third guy here is Steve Nunez, aka Warky T Chocobo.
Yeah, none of those other people are really very important because they're in like nothing.
Apparently, he's working on an audiobook called Prophecy of Flame. Preston Crowley is a Denver native, and he apparently studied voice acting under Robin Miller, Professor Layton.
Oh.
God, that's a sad existence. I voice acted under Professor Layton.
Yeah, man. I have 12 matchsticks.
Let's see. This next guy is apparently an award-winning music composer and voice actor for video games. He has learned from Hans Zimmer and a couple others.
Okay.
He was on the video game Dungeon Fighter Online, Return of Guitar Lord, and Abandoned. All are small indie games. This next guy apparently was also in Guitar Lord. And then finally, this last person, she was...
Oh yeah, the last one is just like, oh man, whoa.
Huh. Great.
Well, read it out loud. I don't want...
All right. Abraham is Yamila Abraham founded a publishing company, Yowie Press, 2004. Over the 8 years, she's overseen the publication of 50 BL titles, including graphic novels, comic books, Yowie novels, and art books, and has successfully licensed Yowie Press titles, including several foreign languages. Abraham is a prolific writer with over dozens of graphic novels in print with 4 different publishers in 3 languages. She wrote 2 of Yowie Press's best-selling series, Rider, Demon, and Maelstrom. Her first scholarly article on the topic of international BL was published in 2010. Abraham works diligently on numerous illustrated ebooks throughout Yowie Press, news and print. Abraham has been a guest speaker on several anime conventions.
Okay.
So she created a publishing company to publish boys love doujins and stuff like that.
Awesome. Yeah, this is kind of depressing because last year they actually had the voice of Raiden from Metal Gear.
Oh, Jesus.
That's cool. Yeah, like they have like the 2 top ones are the highest billing people, and like they like I don't know the first person. She like wrote this thing called Elf Quest. It's like an American. It's like their first American doujinshi sort of a thing.
Car.
And apparently she's important for stuff, but I've never heard of that shit. But I sure have heard of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. So there's an art contest and a rock band contest. Cosplay Masquerade this year.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Joe, we should make some really half-assed cosplay.
If I was gonna make a cosplay, it would have to be just the best, because that's the only way I work. It would either have to be like the most garbage, terrible joke, or just the best. Otherwise, I just wouldn't want to do it.
See, I need a skinny friend to do this with me. We're gonna get you a blonde wig, and I'm gonna get a trench coat and grow my beard out and a hat. we're gonna carry a boombox with us, and we're gonna do Jay and Silent Bob.
That'd be the laziest fucking thing ever.
It would.
You're just dead set on this cosplay, aren't you?
I am. I need someone to do it with me, though.
I do need a blonde wig.
You know, I mean, it would be pretty awesome.
You guys?
I feel like no one would get the joke.
Oh, and of course, we have to have a sign that says "Eat Pussy." And,
They wouldn't let you have that because it's all ages.
fuck.
They have a porn room. What?
No. But you get carded before you go in that room, and it's also like way later at night. They don't want people like running around with like fuck.
What if?
Okay,
What if?
so what we'll do is we'll do what they make you do at PAX. We'll just censor. We'll put eat and then P and then just fucking exclamation point, question mark, etc., etc. Put it on a wall behind us, and when someone comes up to us, Joe, you just have to go like, "Oh, we totally do."
I still have faith that Robert Koo would not even think about allowing that, but
Well, I've seen signs that have profanity on them at PAX, so we'll see.
weird.
We'll see.
All right.
And
Anyway, guys,
Here-
hey, did you guys know about this? This is true. I've heard once that this was a video game podcast.
but first, I also heard it's a podcast about OkCupid.
Oh, god damn it! I keep forgetting about that.
Tell us of your OkCupid adventures.
So, a while back, it was like a month ago. I came out as pansexual, and so I decided now that I was out, it didn't really change too much because I just had a bunch of straight friends. I decided to go on OkCupid, not really for dating because I'm not really looking for dating or anything, but I figured, I'll say that I'm open to gay people and see what happens. Turns out gay guys like me. Like a lot of gay guys like me. It's kind of I'm apparently all right in that department.
Are you flattered?
Am I what?
Do you find it flattering?
Yeah, dude.
I mean,
It's actually pretty awesome. I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying the boost in my self-confidence knowing that there are people that are like really into me. I have 12 notifications. What? Who are 8 people who just visited my profile in the last couple days? Let's see.
I mean, there's an old post that's like, "You're someone's reason to masturbate."
What?
That is a saying. Like, that is a
Oh,
saying.
that's insane. Oh, right.
You are someone's reason to masturbate.
That's a good. Okay, so hang on. I want to show you the message that I got here. The message I just got from this person was, "Hello there. Your sarcasm is refreshing. Just thought I'd let you know." All right, I'll take that. You have to write like a profile about you, and I guess I was pretty sarcastic. Shocker, but. Let's see. Hang on. This one is the one I wanted to share real bad. I've gotten a ton of messages recently, but this guy, he's a black guy with a white white Yankees hat, with the flat brim to the side, and all it says, no caps, no punctuation, "You are so fine." I appreciate it. It's just
Dude, that sounds awesome.
I'm into it, man.
It's like a bunch of dudes just telling you look good. Just like,
no,
all
people
right.
People are loving me. They're asking me if the picture I have on my profile is the real picture. It's like, is that you? I'm like, yeah, dude. It's like, that's awesome. You're cute. It's like, and then me not being used to that coming from a guy, I'm still struggling with it. Yeah, man, it's been awesome, but
No, that sounds
it's
really
just
rad.
really funny.
Yeah, dude.
No, it's really cool.
Like, that's just like the ultimate ego boost, isn't it? Like,
Oh, it's great. Oh, it's great. Because I had to deal with a bunch of a lot of social awkwardness throughout the last I don't know how many years. There's a lot of stories I could go into that aren't really nice, but after going here, this has been real great. But
Let's see.
no, okay. So I said one of the things on OkCupid is it says in your profile when you're filling out your profile, one of the things says. The most private thing I'm willing to admit. And I decided, like, the first time to lie. I was just like, I'm a bit of a pervert. And then I explained. And then people started messaging me like, what? And then I explained and said, I think that's what it means. I said, okay, well, I guess that's not it. So I eventually just said, all right, well then ask a question. And if I consider it too private, I won't answer or something. I forget what it was. Anyway, this guy messages me. This is the same guy who said, is that the real you in the picture? I said, yeah. But anyway, his other question was, how big's your dick?
So what'd you tell him?
I haven't said yet. I think that's why I haven't responded to any messages in the past few days, because I knew I'd have to respond to that guy. So I have a bunch of messages that I still have to answer that I'll probably answer during this podcast at some point, but that's what I've been getting. So what happened one day, this is what brought this whole subject up, was one day, I guess, like, my picture or something got on the front page of OkCupid or something, and I got like 30 people that visited me in less than 24 hours.
Oh, man.
And yeah, it's been really awesome. I've been enjoying it, but man.
Have you had any women message you?
No. See, that's the thing. None.
Oh, man.
Which is weird, because in high school, like, I talked to girls who found you attractive. So,
What are you smoking?
dude,
What?
theater girls found you attractive. The ones I
Who?
talked to. Leanne found you attractive. Haley's scary, but she did. You know?
No, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, she would. Dude, talk to her. She is scary to this day. Last time I talked to her was like a year ago. Yeah. So.
I've only heard, like, I talked to her the last time I talked, really cool.
Yeah.
But I've always heard stories about how after I left, she hooked up with someone else and then stabbed him with a pencil or something.
Oh, God.
That could have been you.
That could have been me, if that was true, you know. But no, I'm sure she was well-meaning with all of her stuff, and but it was just awkwardly handled between both of us, and that was messed up. But Leanne, that seemed weird, but all right. But I don't know. It just never worked out. I don't know what it was, and it still hasn't worked out. But apparently, I have a thing for guys, so I just have to figure out where to go find gay people, and see where it goes from there, I guess. Because the internet's the only place I know. GamerCon is trying to work on getting a forum thing up for gamers, and so until that goes up, because this has been happening over the last month. I went to gaygamer.net. I don't know if you guys remember that site. That was a notable site, and it's kind of gone down. Car,
truck.
Yeah, that one was loud. I heard that one.
yeah.
It drove right past me.
But I joined that site, but that was, I don't know. Do any of you guys use Reddit?
No, not really.
No. Okay. Well, anyway, there's. All right. Well, there's Reddit r/games, which is just like talking about usual video game stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Then there's r/gaming, which is where you'll find like deeper conversation stuff that you'd find on like what Giant Bomb would be talking about rather than like IGN or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for r.gaming, but for like gay people, and what I found was r/games. And I was like, I want to talk about more. I want to talk about what's the deal with Sega. I want to talk about Microsoft and Rare, and I go to the forums and it's like Borderlands 2 is kind of neat. Okay. All right, we can talk about that. I want to talk about video game drama. That's what I want.
We get to news later. First, we talk about what we've been playing.
Oh, I know. That's gonna be great. But
so what we've been playing.
Anyways, that's my story. What else?
I don't know. That sounds interesting. My time on OkCupid has been less interesting.
That's what happens when you're only going for women.
Well,
it's just not as interesting.
Right.
You know, like.
Well, see, my theory is that like because like women often take the more passive role, and where they'll start the profile and then they'll just wait. They'll put up a few pictures and wait, and often the messages will come automatically.
That's like I've become friends with people on that website, and
sure.
And I've talked to a friend of mine, and she's like, "Yeah, like you're one of the few dudes who's actually civil. Mostly people just send me pictures of dicks."
Suddenly it's just chatting the roulette, but in like a slower format.
Yeah.
It's like pictures of dicks, or like they try and hit on them in the worst way.
Well, that's what I was expecting when I went in. Like I've actually been. It's actually been really great so far for me, but I can't imagine what it's like for girls. Holy crap!
Like I actually like am civil about it, so I get like plenty of responses. So
Right.
Like I'm trying to meet friends in the Seattle area for when I move up there. Beyond just the fucking 3 people I know up there.
Yeah.
So like I've actually been civil with these people, and and you message back, and they're like, yeah, you're pretty cool. At least you don't hit on me or send me a picture of your dick. So.
No, I made some good friends. I made 2 friends so far. One who I remember in a picture, he had like Batman tidy whities, which was funny. But that was pretty cool. And then the other person I got friends with really likes horror movies and like gore and writes a lot. And no, I met some cool people on there. There are just also the people who ask me my dick size, which whatever.
It's like,
Yes, I mean, at least I don't know where I am, so not gonna be like, I know his dick size, I can find his address. But
that would be the scariest stalker ever.
Would be
But just cross reference all these dick sizes to the the national the national database of dick size.
Oh man, is there one of those?
That would be the craziest shit ever.
Anyway,
The government
all the stories
keeps track of all
I've
your
heard-
sizes.
all the stories I've heard from you, Bronson, were finding like old high school friends there.
Yeah, that's weird for me. Like I'll go on there and I'll see like people from high school that I know, be it girls or dudes. I'm just like,
Whoa.
Okay, so someone else is doing about as well as I am. That's good to know. Peace. Or like I'll message them and I'll be like, hey, you're on here. And they're like ashamed of it, which is really funny. Yeah.
You just don't give a fuck. It's just like oh, so embarrassing.
Like I have no shame, as you guys know. Or close.
We lost it all during theater.
Yeah, like once you have to dress up as a Greek princess.
Greek princess, a king of the fairies, or a cross-dressing housewife.
Like
really, there's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, going on a fucking dating site or site like this to me just doesn't really bother me any. So so but I'll meet friends from high school on there, or like the really awkward ones is like a girl I dated was on there.
Oh man!
And I had to. I was like, hey, how you doing? I would talk to you for a while.
Hey, what's up?
It's like, what's up? And like,
how's it going?
And they respond with like 2-word answers to everything. And
oh, hey.
You just don't leave them alone.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's cool. Like after a point, I stop being a jerk, and I'm just like, well, nice talking to you. See you.
Right.
But yeah, so that's been OkCupid.
Anyway, OkCupid. All right, that's okay.
Yeah.
You are so fine.
It's funny.
I enjoy it. It's good. Anyway, do we have any more life stuff? Or should we move on to like games?
We should move on to games. So hey, a pretty big game came out this week. That's awesome as fuck.
Cabela's big game hunt. No. Okay.
Borderlands 2.
But Bronson, there's something more important than that. Your little portable system.
Oh yeah,
What portable system?
What
is that? Do you guys hear that?
Car.
No, it sounds like
a
a helicopter.
I think it's a
It sounds
motorcycle.
Oh man. Oh, that's right. Street vibrations.
Yep, street vibrations.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear motorcycles like constantly. They're just all kind of far away. Luckily, I'm not like at my mom's house because that's like right down midtown. So you would just hear constant motorcycles the entire time.
Man. Anyway, so what portable console you guys talking about?
3DS, right?
I don't
Well, that's what I was
don't
assuming.
think it's a 3DS.
Well, I sold my PSP and I didn't play my Game Boy this week. So what are you talking about?
I don't know.
You still-
Apparently, this thing has quad-core processing.
Oh, that's not a game player. That's a portable. That's a paperweight. It's called PlayStation Vita.
Oh, you played it?
Yeah, yes, I had. Joking
How do you play it?
aside, I played a game on my PlayStation Vita that was somewhat new. I got into the 1 week developers beta for PlayStation All Stars Battle, even though I'm not a game developer, so that was kind of weird to get that email.
Right.
But I downloaded it on PS3 and I downloaded it on my Vita and played it.
How-
Playing that game on the PS3 online is kind of dull. Playing it on the Vita is a little more entertaining, and overall, that game, it's like if you own a PlayStation and you want a substitute for Smash Brothers, it's okay, like it's fine, it fills that role, but it's not better. It's certainly not better. It's fun, but not better.
So how does the system play? I mean, I've heard that it's like the damage doesn't really matter that much, and it's all about the huge special moves that you would get from something like the Smash Ball.
Okay, so
That's like the only way to kill people.
Yes, that is the only way to kill people is with specials. And you have 3 levels of meter, 1, 2, and 3, that you build by beating the shit out of people. And that's the only way you can build meter. And if you're level 1, it doesn't have that much range and does a little bit of damage. Your 2 does more and can probably take out 2 or 3 people. And your level 3 is usually really badass. Like Kratos gets the Blade of Olympus and 1 hit kills everyone. Parappa the Rappa, like, dances and raps and car.
Yes. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Man, this really is Cars Part 2.
Cars Part 2. I'm sorry.
But
It's all my fault.
And this time, like because the Gamer Access people never experienced the original Cars.
Oh, I can
This is
definitely.
all-
I can have Nick post up GameKraft flashbacks episode
Oh,
7.
man.
yeah, but the system is kind of interesting in a way. Like, okay, I have a level 1 meter. Do I want to get close to someone and use it? Or do I want to keep building meter to get my 2 and take out a couple people? Because it can take a whole match to build up to a 3, especially if you're like me and you're not very good.
It just sort of seemed like there would be characters that have really good level 1 supers, and you would just want to play them all the time. Just because, like, if you could get, like, 1 or 2 kills consistently with a level 1 super, it would be, like, way better than getting, like, 3 kills at once with a level 3 super. So it seems like it would just be, like, hard to balance to make it so that all the level 1 supers aren't just, like, one of them is just so good that there's no reason to play anything else.
Like, for me, I noticed that isn't the case, although they only let you access 5 characters in the beta.
Who are the characters?
Sweet Tooth, Kratos, Radic, Fat Princess, and Parappa the Rappa. At PAX, they had the full roster they've unveiled so far. And I had more fun with it at PAX, but like because I played that game in the ideal environment, because I was playing with 3 other people, split screen with all the characters unlocked. So it might be better with more people, when that happens. That said, right now I would stick to Smash Brothers, but if you're looking for kind of an interesting alternative, or you don't own a Wii or a GameCube, then yeah, I'd pick it up probably. If anything, it's fun in groups. So yeah, and out of the characters that out of those 5 characters, the one that I was best with was Radic. So.
Huh. Okay. All right.
The next game I played that came out this week, though, I nearly didn't buy it. I was like, I'm gonna wait. I wasn't big on the first one, even though I did like the demo of this they had at PAX, and that's Borderlands 2. But I was out getting medicine for my mom, picking up her prescription for her blood pressure, and she has an infection in her mouth on one of her teeth.
Yeah, video games.
But so while I was out, I was like, well, Borderlands 2, I have to go to my GameStop to follow up my application anyway. So I go to GameStop and I follow up my application. They're like, we're getting interviews end of the month, come back then. But I was like, hey, can I also get Borderlands 2? Come home, pop it in, nearly miss the staff meeting
Oh.
in TGA. Next morning, pop the disc in at 10:30, don't stop playing until 3 in the afternoon.
All right.
It's so much fun. It's super addictive. The co-op is a blast. Um, like the entire it's and the thing is, the two things that they improved that they make me like it a lot versus the first Borderlands, which I wasn't a big fan of, was they've improved the story a lot.
Okay, I was just about to ask about that because in Borderlands 1, the story was really, really not there at all. It was like, there's a vault, go find it.
This is similar to that, except it's like Handsome Jack is trying to get the vault open and fucking destroy us all and take over Pandora. And then, you got to go join the Crimson Raiders to come stop him. And then you find out the Crimson Raiders have their own problems you got to help them with, and so on and so forth.
At the very least, are all of the characters that give out quests and the quest lines and stuff like that, they're more, important than go kill this thing.
Yes.
Go turn on this stuff.
And the heroes from the first game are actually characters in this.
Oh, that's cool.
Personalities. Like, right now I'm working for Roland, the soldier, and Lilith, the siren from the first game.
Yeah, that's who I played as, siren.
I'm working with both of them to fucking say fuck you to Handsome Jack. And they lead the current resistance. The story is a lot more fleshed out. The game still is really funny. A lot of returning characters who make references to the past game. Like, I've picked up an audio log that talks about General Knox. Honestly, it almost makes you want to go through the first game again and all the DLC for it. But so they improved the story a lot. So that's the other thing. And the shooting is a lot better than it was. The shooting in the first Borderlands felt very stiff and kind of like Fallout, where it was just so stat dependent that I didn't really have any feeling behind it. This feels like a good middle ground between an actual shooter and an RPG, which is good. I would have to say that the only things that irritate me is really irritates me is the looting system. Which what happens is loot drops and anyone can go pick it up.
So it's not kill based or like class based or anything.
Nope. So like some stuff is class mods are obviously, but other than that, no. So other than that, though, it's a really great game. I'm having a ton of fun with it, which really surprised me because I wasn't big on the first Borderlands. But this game, I'm just every time I pop it in, I put in at least a couple of hours. My other problem, although I do have one more problem that I just remembered from today, is that some parts are co-op is practically fucking required.
It's one of those games where it's built around it, so if you don't, you're just kind of...
Okay, so I get to this boss. For those who have played, it's where you have to rescue Roland. And this boss, basically what it does, when you get close to it fires rockets at you and does this big wave attack. And when you're far away, it spawns in fucking robots to kill you. And these fucking robots do so much damage. Like, they're the regular ones, and they're the ones that are called badass. Just like the elite version, for those of you who play Warcraft, I guess. And these badass ones just keep killing me. Like, I'll kill 3 of the regular ones and get the badass down to half health, then die. And then come back again, kill it, but have to deal with another badass one. And I keep fucking dying while killing these things. And I'm thinking in my mind, either I'm gonna fucking keep killing these things and keep getting experience and grind my way to being able to kill this boss, or I'm gonna need help. I boot up my friends list and I look at, and of course, only 2 people are playing, versus the night before where like half my PSN's friend list was on it. And there's 2 people. There's a level 10 commando who this is a level 14 thing, so too high for him. And then there is a level 22 siren.
Just not quite.
And it's just like, oh, okay, they can help me. And I sent him a message, and I'm like, oh, dude, I totally need help. I'm stuck on this. And he sent me back saying, I got to eat. And I'm like, no, dude, it's just this boss. Just help me kill this boss. And he's like, fine. And it says he joins my game, but he's back at the respawn point. And I'm hiding behind a fucking rock just like, oh, please, hurry, hurry, hurry. I don't want to die again, you know? And right as I'm about to bite it, he comes, and I just see the siren's power just, woo! Take out, like, 3 of them. And then, whoop, boom, boom, boom! 3 more die. Like, and then a couple of shots, the boss is dead. And I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's the power of having someone higher level than you help.
Yeah, it's like it's like in Warcraft when you're doing a quest.
Like what we did is like, hey, 5 other dudes. Yeah, let's go through Black Temple and blast through the whole place in 1 hour.
Yeah, it's like Black Temple. Like Anthony and I did Black Temple a while back, which when it was
back in the old days, this was the signature dungeon, and it took people insane amounts of military grade planning to make it through this in 3 hours or 4 hours. And what happened, me, Bronson, and our group of friends, we just went through and blasted through the whole place, and only 1 fight gave us trouble.
Yeah, it was really like I really love that. Like that's one thing I love about RPGs. If you find and love enough, you're like eventually you'll be able to go back to older fights or come back to a fight you were having trouble with, and just exact revenge. All the horrible, horrible revenge.
That kind of stuff sort of makes me sad, just because it's like, I remember when this was the hardest thing in the universe, and now it's just baby stuff.
Yeah, and
it's sort of just a little bit depressing, because it's like, I wish this was like a challenge still.
Yeah, like at times I have that in Warcraft, like we'll be doing like the first boss of a raid that was really like impossibly hard, and we smoke it really easily, and I'm just like, I remember when you took 40 people all communicating. Now you take 3 of us.
Yeah, it kind of loses its luster a little bit.
Yeah, but so Borderlands, unless the rest of this game just totally is shit and it shits itself, or I don't continue enjoying playing it, then expect a pretty positive review because I'm reviewing it. And my new name on this site should go from editor to reviews editor, because I might be reviewing Little Big Planet if Nick gets a code. I'm doing Miss the Pandaria, and I'm the only one with fighting game experience, so I'm doing Dead or Alive 5. All in like a 3-week period.
Reviews.
Do it.
Anyway, what else have you guys been playing before I get to my next thing? Because,
dude, Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, is everyone done episode 3 yet?
No.
God damn it!
I'm sorry.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna go cry now because I just go play.
Joe, I am disappointed in you.
I don't have any money. I need to get like a haircut.
$5?
Dude,
$5.
I can probably scrounge $5 somewhere. I just gotta like walk around town and look for dollars on the ground, beg for change.
I mean, fuck.
I'll get it. Don't worry. Sometimes, like if you just ask for change on like a street corner.
Oh, sure. There are homeless people who make an entire living just by asking people money.
Yeah, like if I just stay downtown for like 3 hours and after like, oh, can you spare some change? I could probably scrounge up $5.
Sure.
Okay, so have you finished episode 2?
Well, yeah, I've done that.
Okay, we talked about episode 2, I believe.
We're talking about episode 2. If you want, I can mute you guys for a little bit when you guys can talk about it.
Okay, we'll message you in the chat.
Okay, let me.
We should probably put a warning.
Yeah. Okay. We'll put a warning in the text.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you guys now. So go ahead and talk.
And we'll tell you in the text, or I'll give you a phone call. All right. So are we ready? Go. Dude, episode 3 is fuck.
They just continue to be screwed up the ass through the whole thing. Oh my god. Oh, some of the things you have to do in that game is
like you have to kill the kid. Oh, that was the worst.
I was actually preparing for that. Like, I knew that was going to be bad. I was preparing because, one, they had alluded to the whole situation in the beginning, and then it actually happened, and I thought, like, okay, so we're aware parents are going to accept it. And then the mom goes and
She kills herself.
Oh my god.
And then the whole Carly thing, and then Lily steals the fucking car. And
The beginning, like, Kenny is such an asshole, and you want to kill him for everything he's done, but by the end of 3, you're like, oh, dude, Kenny, if you ran away, I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't. Oh, man.
And then you have fucking Ben really did do that?
Yeah, did all that, and shit.
Oh, fuck. Did you finish episode 3 yet, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the preview of the next episode.
Yes, I do.
Clementine's parents, the fuck?
They're looking for Clementine's parents.
Yeah, but did you see, if you saw the preview for the next episode, like, I know where Clementine's fucking parents are. I know, or, you know, they know.
Well, they know, they I'm still very confident that that woman at the end of 2 was her mom.
See, I don't think that because she says little girl. She didn't say Clementine.
I could have sworn she said Clementine.
Oh, she said little girl. That's all she
I'm
said.
going back. I'm gonna maybe go on YouTube. I'm figuring this out because that just seems
It just, I don't know, it doesn't fit. And the fact that her parents were in Savannah, which is...
Yeah, sure.
Which,
but I imagine when everything happened, they tried their damnedest to get back.
Yeah, but why would she be camping in the woods in her house?
Her house would have no one there, and Clementine wasn't there, so she was going to have to go look for her.
Still, though, I don't know. It just doesn't add up for me.
Let me just make sure that she says Clementine real quick here.
You have headphones on, right?
I do.
Okay.
I always do. I am the sole promoter of everyone should wear headphones because it echoes. God, so many people do Let's Plays. People doing Let's Plays of Chrono Trigger. What?
Yeah, they're jerks. They're really jerks.
Mm-hmm.
Chrono Trigger's just a giant pile of poo.
My quarrel is not with the game. It's the assholes that keep playing it. Oh, that's an original idea. Just play through a game and record it. That's real funny.
Yeah, I know. God. Especially jerks who plan to do it for Halo, the entire series. God, they're the biggest idiots. Isn't that right?
Just hope it doesn't happen. They're currently planning it. We just hope, like, frickin', I just hope that one Asian dude just gets so much schoolwork he can never do it. And then Halo 4 is going to come out, and then it'll be far too late.
Oh God! Now that I'm looking at this video, the end of episode 2 was amazing.
Oh, it was, dude. I thought it was so epic in the rain and like
the rain, the thunderstorm, and
I'm just like, oh God, this is
the walkers close in on the family members. And when it comes to memorable moments of the year, the end of episode 2 will be up there.
I think that, like, Walking Dead. Now, obviously, Halo isn't out. Obviously, Assassin's Creed isn't out.
Creed.
And we could always be surprised by something. But right now, if episode 4 is as good as these other 3 have been, The Walking Dead might be my game of the year. Like,
Isn't episode 5 the last episode?
Yep.
They got to get that out before the end of the year, right?
Well, I don't know. How do you want to do that? I know that's
Well, see, that's the thing. I really want them to just get all the episodes out in the year so we can count it as one game. Because if it doesn't, then it feels really weird.
We just have to count it as one game for next year.
Do we? Is that?
I think that's.
I may have to look to other sites. Like, ever since we have really begun doing all this website stuff more, it hasn't been. Wow, I just lost my train of thought there. Did you guys see that? That was crazy. All right, what were we talking about?
Game of the year, Walking Dead.
Right, I've begun to rely less and less on other websites for stuff, but we may need to see how other websites handle The Walking Dead.
Like, we're gonna have some interesting controversies this year because we have that.
We always do.
Last year was pretty smooth. Like, we didn't have anything. Last year was smoother than most years.
Okay, sure.
Like, this year we're gonna have the Persona 4 The Golden controversy.
Oh God.
We're gonna have the Pandaria controversy.
You're right. In terms of controversies, like last year we had Portal 2 versus Uncharted 3. Though that wasn't too much of a controversy because those were clear, full $60 games.
Are we done talking
it
about
wasn't like
3, by the way?
What's that?
Are we done talking about episode 3, by the way, so I'm joking about
I'm trying to get to the boat. Sometimes I'm dead.
Feels like
The train scene was pretty crazy.
That was pretty nuts.
When you're on top of the train and Ben just sees like a wave of zombies in the fog
because they've been following the sound of the train the entire way.
Right.
And
they all just gathered.
They're gonna fucking go in that city that they're in.
Absolutely. We have limited time to find a boat.
I'm telling you, episode 5 is gonna be that.
Episode 4 is when they'll likely leave on the boat, and then all the zombies arrive. And then 5 is them arriving somewhere from the boat on an island. It'll be like the end of the remake of Dawn of the Dead, where they get on the boat during the credit sequence. They arrive on an island thinking they're safe, and then they all get killed by the zombies there.
I don't know, dude. Like, they make you like Lee and Clementine a bit too much, I think, to let that happen.
Well, no, I'm not seriously suggesting that. I was making a joke, just a reference to it. But I could see them killing off Clementine after some of the things they've done. I could see it. I wouldn't want them to, and I don't think they would, but I could see it.
Yeah, I can see it too. But
I'd like to see Clementine, like if Clementine died, and just see Lee as a broken man. It would be the saddest thing ever, and it would win some fucking awards. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, I don't think they. Episode 4 is in the hands, I believe, of Gary Whitta. I think they had like guest writers. I forget how it went. I know Gary Whitta is involved. He's like the story consultant for all of these. That man.
He can write.
I don't know. He can write. Wrote the Book of Eli.
So
so he could do something crazy. I don't know.
So we done? I can invite Joe back.
Sure, just yeah, crazy things happen.
But so this is my opinion on fucking The Walking Dead. Of course, if all 5 episodes come out, we count it as one fucking game.
Yes.
If not, then we just move it to next year as a full title. Or we count.
I am back.
Or we count what they have for next year.
Also, that seems like it was too short to finish talking about The Walking Dead.
We're still talking about Walking Dead.
We're just talking about episode 2 and 1.
Oh, okay. Okay, I guess I'll forgive you then.
But as far as Pandaria goes, obviously
that's not Walking Dead. You
lied
to me.
Well, I was discussing as long as we're talking about the Game of the Year shit, I might as well get my ideas out now. Because
about how to handle things.
About how to handle things.
Room.
Walking Dead will be interesting. I'll wait to see how things move.
As far as Pandaria goes, because they're adding new music, new mechanics, whatnot, I think it should be allowed in the genre awards, special achievement awards, but not Game of the Year.
Maybe.
And because Persona is adding new art, new music, new mechanics, same thing. Genre awards, special achievement awards, no Game of the Year.
That's up to you guys. I have no say in this at all.
But yes.
Right, yeah. My opinion is, I'm glad we're talking about it, but I think I'm just going to wait until we start getting closer to that time when most of the games have already come out. Yeah. And we start really thinking about it, and it becomes more clear when the 5th episode is going to come out.
Yeah, obviously. Like right now, I really do think that next episode's going to make it out before Halloween. I really do. Like they want a if just for promotion reasons, having the Halloween episode would be fucking amazing. So yeah. Anyway, are you still searching for that thing?
Yeah. I'm watching the scene right now.
Alright. Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sense. If she didn't say Clementine's name, like what? how
She's just some weird.
there's a clear story element to this. This is not just some random thing. They would not do that.
She's just some crazy old woman that was watching the group.
It's not. That's dumb. They would not do that.
Joe, do you think that one crazy lady in episode 2 that held you up with a crossbow is Clementine's mom?
I've now watched the video, and I don't think so.
No,
I've now watched the video, and I don't think so.
I
But
really doubt that.
there's a clear connection to something.
I very
They
much.
don't
doubt that.
just introduce a crazy lady. And
Well, it
let
was
that be
like,
that.
I think that it might, like, there's a couple ways it could be. It could be something deeper that we just don't know about.
That's what
but-
it is.
No, like, listen though. It also, because it was such a, it was a short, small part of the episode. It was definitely not the main focus at all. And what I think is that it was more of a way to show you that maybe this family was not quite as friendly as they seemed, because the brother that you're with is very adamant on killing her. She was there to inform the player that things are really, really not what they seem, and to get you unsettled and less trusting of the family that you're now staying with. Because she knew what was up. She knew the secret and what was happening, and she was there to not tell you what's happening, but to make you think that to think about it, to think
Also,
that not everything is correct here.
That video clip with her at the end, I think, was to reinforce the fact that people are watching the motel, bandits included. Like, that's what I think that was there for, not so like, oh, this was Clementine's mom, or more of a, oh, this is just people are watching the motel.
For me, the video thing that happens right at the end of the episode, and it's a closer sort of a thing. It closes the episode in a very strong way. It brings just a little more closure to something that hadn't fully been closed up completely. I really think she was just really fucked up, like, creepy lady. Not that she had necessarily a connection to Clementine or the group. It was more that just she was in that place, and she is now crazy, and so she has a particular care for this little girl, even though it's misplaced. So it was a closure sort of a thing for the whole episode, and it closed it well. It was a good finisher to. It made the episode feel just a little more complete,
Yeah, I still don't like it. If that's what it is, I don't like it. I feel like they could have done something more with that. But I hope they do something more with it. I hope there's something deeper to it.
We'll see. Telltale Games, you better be listening.
I hope so.
We're
Yeah.
the biggest podcast in the whole world. You better be listening.
We're the only one that matters, really. I mean,
Yeah, there you go. I mean,
uh,
what else matters?
we're the GameKast. We put
The.
game. That's the end. We need to put a period after the GameKast. Period.
Yeah.
Done.
We need to capitalize the, like, all caps. Just the game.
The.
Okay, so anyway, what else have you been playing? Walking Dead? Anything else?
Pokemon. I play Pokemon every week. That's not really.
Okay, well, next.
Yeah, that's about it. Walking Dead, Pokemon.
Anthony, Joe.
You guys you guys like Scyther?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
man, Scyther's cool.
Yep.
Actually, Scyther is really cool. Like,
Can't
Scyther
can't
on
learn
shit.
fly, but still pretty cool.
Hey, Scyther's rad.
Uh-huh.
Give shit
I
to
wish he
Scyther.
could fly, man. He's got the wings.
Scyther just does so much damage. It's ridiculous.
You can only get him, like, as far as I know, you can only get him by winning the lottery enough times. Like, you have to go and, like, gamble.
Those
Let's
old
see the
Pokemon
slots
games
for-
definitely encouraged gambling.
They do.
They all
And
do.
they were rated
absolutely do.
E too, even though gambling is illegal until you're 21.
There were-
Gambling in that game is super addictive.
There were 3 Pokemon they had behind bars. One was Scyther, and one was Chansey. You get the pun there. But I don't forget what the third one was.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
But we talked a lot about Pokemon on this show. So, Joe,
We could talk about it all day.
Let's talk about gambling in video games. I like that topic. Like
Yakuza.
there's so many different ways that it can go down. Like some games have a really crappy sort of a gambling system. Like for instance, Tales of Vesperia. When you get to this extras island sort of a thing way later in the game, there's a poker game that you can play, and holy crap, is it exploitable! It's really really easy to get just millions upon millions upon millions playing that thing because it's just so exploitable. And some games it's just so impossible to win. It's almost like it's way rigged so that you're just going to lose horribly. And it's just a big waste of time.
okay, so
Gotta get out of it.
what I like is Yakuza has mahjong in it.
Yep.
And
I have
basically-
yet.
I still don't understand how.
I have yet to play Mahjong.
What kind of mahjong though? Like the shitty American mahjong where it's just like find two tiles that match, or
No.
like for real mahjong where it's like poker but 10 times more complicated.
Faux real mahjong. It's Yakuza, dude.
Okay.
I did not get past that part in Yakuza because of that. Just what?
Like I have a
This isn't gonna
basis.
You can just pay to get past it. You know that, right?
I know, but I didn't feel like it.
I have a basis on knowing how to play mahjong, and that's just because I watched Saki, which is a mahjong anime. That's where my mahjong knowledge comes from. And like I bet I could get through that mini game, mostly because the mini game is holding my hand, and I don't have to know all the rules.
Yeah.
But that's the only way I can play mahjong. It's like on the computer, where the computer knows all the rules, and I just press stuff. Because otherwise, I just don't know enough rules. There's so many hands and different things, and it's just absurdly complicated. I would need someone who knows how to play to teach me how to play.
So, Joe, video games. What have you been playing?
What now? Sorry.
What have you been playing? Video games. What video games have
Do you play the video games?
Oh, sorry. My Skype keeps randomly cutting out for no reason.
That's what Skype does.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. Like you just go silent.
They are promising better quality calls in the future.
Yeah, I hope so.
Promising.
I don't care how it sounds so much as that I can hear you at all. That's the important part.
Yeah, they're going to promise less choppy calls too. Actually.
Yeah, we can only hope. Unfortunately, I haven't been playing much anything new since last time I was on a podcast. It still consists of Dark Souls and League of Legends and I started playing 2 visual novels since last time. I started playing The Song of Saya no Uta, if you care for the Japanese name, and oh good lord, what's the entire name of this? Yin Yang Exchange Alternative, which is
Japan.
Japan.
Man.
Yeah, that's all you can say about the name. But like, Saya no Uta is about this college dude who gets in an accident. His parents are driving him somewhere, or he's driving them somewhere, or something like that. They're on a trip, and they get in a car accident that kills his parents, and he goes into the hospital because he's almost dead too, and they think he's going to die, but they do an experimental surgery on his brain, and he makes it through and he lives, but it does something to his brain, and now get ready for weird. Now he sees the world as if everything were covered by, like, as if everything was made of this grotesque meat and like living tissue. So it's fucking gross, basically.
What?
Like everything smells like rotting meat, and everything, like all the walls and floors and everything is like made of meat, basically. And like people, now they don't appear as people, they appear as like nasty meat blob monsters, and they sound terrible and disgusting. And now, of course, because he's gone insane, basically, everything else is normal. Like he thinks normally, and he looks normal to himself, but everyone else is looks disgusting. So he's like, well, I guess I just better kill myself because this is awful. And boy, I don't really blame him. It is pretty awful. But
Speaking of,
What happens in the story?
no, I'm getting to that. That's the very next thing. Is that
Okay.
one night, this girl who looks completely normal. She's the only thing that he's found in the whole world. Well, he's been in the hospital this whole time, so in all of the hospital, but it's implied that the whole world is now fucked up. She is the only thing that looks completely normal. And she says she came in to scare him or something. Like she goes around the hospital and like scares old people, which is extremely irresponsible. But whatever. And she becomes the reason that he doesn't just end it all, and he tries to get through his life, is because he has this one pillar of sanity left. And you play through the game and you experience. He tries to still be friends with the friends that he had before this, but now they're horrible monsters, and he is disgusted with them, and he's completely changed. And it has two sides to the story, where you see from his side of the story, and all the backgrounds are disgusting and made of meat and stuff and flesh, and when people talk they sound horrifying and all that. And then you have the other side of the story, which is his friends and his doctor, and they see the world normally, and they just see that their friend and his doctor sees him as his patient, obviously. They see that he's different. He's not the same person that he was before the accident. And of course, they're trying to be respectful because his parents died and he got in this horrible accident, and so they're not sure if it's just because of that or something else is going on. But it gets into this murder sort of drama type thing, and it's really cool. I like it a lot. The music is so good. When you listen to it, you would think, oh, this music isn't very good, but the thing is about it is that all of the music is very unsettling and heavy. You really feel it when you're playing the game, when this really acidy, heavy guitar riff that's just slow and drags on, just kind of cuts across your ears. It's really good. I like it a lot.
Okay.
So one thing that I gotta say is, you said this is a murder mystery, and I've also been in a murder mystery graphic novel, or somewhat related to a murder mystery. Persona 4 Arena. See, it's this graphic novel with these fighting game parts in it every 30 minutes. It's really weird.
Yeah, that sounds really weird, dude.
Yeah,
there's no fighting in this game. There's in most visual novels, you have certain choice points where it's a choose your own adventure type of a thing. I guess I should explain what a visual novel is, because that's a really niche thing. Not that many people know what they are. It's a game usually from Japan. This one is, and it's basically a mixture of a choose your own adventure book and. Well, imagine if you had a choose-your-own-adventure book that also had pictures and music and voice acting, and you pretty much have it. So it's a very, very interactive book, I guess.
Does your kindergarten teacher read it to you?
Some of them you could, I guess. Not really, no. Most of them are more adult related, in that a lot of visual novels are more about the sex than the story. This is not one of them, though it does have quite a bit of sex in it.
What? This story sounds weird and
it is weird.
Kind of intriguing. I don't.
It's.
Do you want to have sex in the meat room?
Well,
yeah, the idea of even thinking about that in a world that's just.
It's just because he only has.
There's not enough sex in this meat room.
No, he only has one pillar of sanity. And
I know, but if everything's covered in meat.
No, the way that he made his house livable is that he went out and he bought tons and tons of paint, and he painted all the walls, and so now in his house all the walls are green and sort of this horrible meat color, and it smells more like paint than rotting flesh, so he can just sort of deal with it. it's less horrible.
Oh man, I love paint fumes and rotten meat.
At least
God,
I would probably take paint fumes over rotting meat.
But,
Does
probably
paint
go
fumes
for-
actually do something to your brain?
Well, at this point, I don't really think that's a concern.
Well,
Um,
it depends on what it does. What are you
it's-
guys paint fumes experts? I don't know.
I assume that it's a. I know that you can die huffing paint, but
Okay.
I think this is a different
Well,
sort of a thing. Just because like his house has like air going through it, he's not like putting his face up to the paint and just huffing it as hard as possible.
what if he falls asleep and I assume the floor is also made of meat?
I think mostly it doesn't matter because that's not the point of the story. It's one of those things.
See,
Well,
you have to
more
understand
about
the.
feeling than the logic of it. It's
You
kinda
have
like
to
the
understand
Christmas
though,
part
when
of
you
the
go
movie.
into a conversation with Ashton or not, we're gonna ask these questions.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, it's more about the feeling and the emotion of it than it is about the logic of it. Because I mean,
the details.
come on here,
Yeah.
like we're talking about he got in an accident and he had a surgery done on him, and now we can only see the world as like disgusting meat and flesh creatures. It doesn't really make sense. So you gotta give and take.
I don't know, man. There are people who are terrified, absolutely terrified of cauliflower because of something that happened with their head. It's not out of reality, you know.
I mean, it's not something you would think would ever happen. Really, it's not something you would like.
You wouldn't think it would. Yeah, you're right. You wouldn't think it
Like
would happen.
completely. So it's very weird, but it's very cool, and I love it. I love the music the best. I think just because, oh man, it's like really slow, trancy, super heavy, long guitar riffs that just like weigh down on you, and you feel the horrible weight that he carries on his shoulders with every pluck of a string, and it's just like, oh, this is the best. And then I talk about the other one I've been playing, Yin Yang Exchange Alternative, which is by what is it? Peach something. I would have to look it up. Peach Princess. There we go.
Where are you getting these games?
Magic. Cough cough. Magic.
.com.
Magic.com. Most of the time,
Magic.xxx.
with these visual novels, they don't come out in the U.S. usually. They don't get an English translation. So the legal way to get them would be to buy the game and then apply a fan translation to it. And the illegal way to do it would be to download the game and then apply the fan translation to it. And I won't lie to you, I don't think it would be possible for me to buy, with good conscience, buy one of these, just because they're so absurdly expensive, and it really confuses me that like they put out visual novels. Some of them are like $100 or like $120, and it's just absurd.
Wait, $100 for
US
for
like
now, are they that much if you go to Japan and buy them in Japan?
No, that's what I mean.
Ugh.
Like, in Japan, they're like $80, $90, $100, and it's absurd, like how expensive they are. And I just can't myself buying one, and yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're not long. Some of them are really fucking long, and some of them are not. Some of them are really short. Some of them have fantastic art. Some of them have kind of crappy art. Some have fantastic music. Blah blah blah. On and on. So it's just, it's not something that I could ever see myself spending that much money on. When I could spend, $5 on Walking Dead episode 3, or I could spend $80 on this maybe okay visual novel, like. I can't justify that, so yeah, I do pirate these things, but it doesn't really weigh on my conscience too hard for what gouging prices they're asking for. And aside from that, like the absurd difficulty of getting these games anyways, like they have to be selling those games, and then you have to ship it to the US and find a fan translation for it, and it's just a big pain in the butt if you want to do it legally. But anyways, that's not...
Car!
Motorcycle. Anyways, Yin Yang Exchange Alternative. This one.
Make this one quick.
Yeah, this one. Hey, man, video games. Quit
Yes.
Yeah, visual
This-
novels.
Hey, no,
This
You
video
guys
counts.
are
This
kind of
is
making this
tangential
so...
video games.
This
No,
is
this
so
totally-
unrelated to the games we're used to. I'm playing Madden right now to try and...
this is something new. Most people won't know about visual novels. This is good shit. This is good shit, I swear. And there are visual novels that do have way more like game elements to them. It's a sliding scale. It's a lot of gray. Like some of them have more like a strategy game element to them. Like rants games. You're generally trying to like. It's the oh lord, the Warring States period in Japan, and you're trying to take over all of Japan, and it's a strategy game, but it's also a visual novel. But anyways, exchange, yeah, yin yang exchange alternative. This game sucks. That's that's the first line I give about
Right.
it. It sucks. It sucks in a way that makes me want to keep reading it though. It's the story about this boy named oh fuck, see, here we go, Tauru, something like that.
No, I want you to say the
No,
full name.
how-
Say the
how-
full name.
Fucking, I would have to like open the game. It's a name it's very it's ambiguous. It's agender. Kaoru, that's it. Kaoru, Kaoru. And it's used for both boys and girls. And he has a very girly face, so he gets bullied a lot as a kid. And he decides that he wants to be like the manliest man and take after his dad and fight everyone and be the manliest because everyone calls him girly because of his face. Fast forward a bunch of years, and he's done that, and he is very he's a delinquent, as anime would call it. Japan, I guess, would be a better anime.
All right.
So he's a delinquent, and he doesn't do very good in school. Whatever. And he starts feeling kind of sick for no explained reason, really. This game not real heavy on the story for like in a good way. It's kind of
Is it
just a
heavy on
shit
the-
story. And the school nurse at this school is sort of like a mad scientist type. He sort of just like does experiments at school because that makes sense. And
Well, I know if I was a school teacher, I would use my students as lab rats.
well, he doesn't use the students as lab rats, but he does definitely like weird experiments. But Kaoru, he first the doctor gives him some medicine, and then he has to go back to the nurse's office at some point, and the nurse isn't there, and he sees a bottle on the nurse's desk that looks like the bottle that he took last time, so he just drinks it because that's a good idea.
I
And
always drink red
Yeah,
bottles.
no, it's like unlabeled, and he's just like, this is a good idea, and he just downs it. And here's where here's the plot twist. Whoa. He drinks it, and then he goes home and he sleeps, and he wakes up, and now he is a girl.
That sounds like my trip to Mexico.
Yeah.
I woke up and
and
you
you
know,
were
my gender was changed.
Yeah, like he wakes up and the medicine has changed him into a girl, and like I said, visual novels, definitely a lot of them have that porn element to them, and so there's definitely been some porn here, and whatever about that.
I don't know.
but-
I don't feel comfortable talking about this anymore.
No, don't worry. It's almost over. I'm not going to talk about that part of it really at all. But the main point is that you take you have to live your life as a girl now instead of a boy, and all his trials and tribulations about that, and the differences that it makes in his life, and then the decision that has been coming up now and is getting forced on me is that I can decide to stay as a girl or go back to being a boy, and that's apparently going to be the big decision that I have to make
What do
at the
you
end of
choose?
and like I said, this game is garbage. It's really bad, but it's kind of like awful in a charming way that makes me want to keep playing it.
Now, I have a question. How long is it, and can you show me this on your laptop?
I can show you it on
Because
my
this sounds hilarious. this.
I can show you it on my laptop. That's fine. How long have I been playing it so far? Let's see here. I can look it up on that site that you guys have never heard of, which is the Visual Novel Database, which works just like
There's a
the
visual novel.
yeah, like there's a Visual Novel Database. Novel Database. It's just like IMDb, but it's VNDB. It's the same type of thing. It says that the length of Yin Yang Exchange Alternative is medium, which means 10 to 30 hours. And that is medium, because I've definitely played visual novels that I have logged over what would it be? At least 100 hours in. That would be Fate Stay Night. I've logged at least 100 hours in that. I think, the time in that game goes by days. I think I have it's way more than 100 hours. I have I have 10 days logged in that game. And a lot of that is just idle, like on the pause screen, but still, 10 days? Dang, yo.
Right.
I definitely have all of the endings and, all of the death scenes and all of the CGs and everything. I've unlocked everything in that game. I have the fancy ending screen that you get when you unlock everything and all that. But yeah, so those are the two things I've been playing. Saya no Uda, Song of Saya, rather. Super good. Love it. If you can, if you want to buy it, go for it. I'm not going to tell you not to. That's really cool. But if you can get it in any other way, I would recommend it too. And then Yin Yang Exchange Alternative, I wouldn't buy it. I should probably stop playing it. It's not very good, but it's something. Peach Princess came out with a better game, later, which is way better. It's called Yume Miru Kusuri, with the subtitle "The Drug That Makes You Dream." And that was super good.
Man.
That game is rad.
That subtitle's awesome.
You have to go through 3 different girls' stories, and they all have their own different, very intense problem. One has a really tough time with bullying, and I'm not talking about a shitty I'm bullying you, but literally it's ruining her life and she wants to kill herself. And then one of them has a really big drug problem, and one of them has a horrible time with interpersonal relationships.
I feel like when we start that anime podcast, Joe should just be on it.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Definitely watch a lot of anime.
This is the GameKast, guys.
The game. Hey, man, these are games. I swear to you,
Games.
I know it's you just gotta widen your perception of what a game can.
Yeah, well, your definition of a game.
you can't.
I'm still
a computer game is like an RTS or a first-person shooter. It can be more than that. Just it's.
I'm still seeing it as a visual novel, but I would have to see it.
Some of them are very there are some visual novels that I have zero problem calling a game because there are very much game elements to them.
The sex minigames.
No, I don't think I've ever played one that had a sex minigame in it. But in Rants, you are doing it's a very strategic game where you're trying to take over Japan. You recruit soldiers and you wage war on neighboring provinces, and that game is hard as fuck. That game is really hard. I still have not beaten that game a single time. It's so hard, and it's very much a game. Whereas others are much less of a game, but I would still consider them a game.
Moving on, Anthony, what have you played?
Everyone is bored with my visual novel talk.
God, man.
Joe, I think you spent a good 20 minutes doing that entire thing. I've played nothing interesting.
It's something new,
It's different.
Yeah.
As long as he's talking about that, I might as well talk about the league game I just had in Madden. Literally right before this podcast. And I told Ashton afterwards, dude, I need a cigarette, because, fuck. And I don't smoke.
After you tell yours, I'm telling mine.
The final score was 34-31. What happened is I am up 31-24 with 2 minutes left. I think, okay, I gotta hold them on defense. And I do a blitz, and I'm playing the strong safety, and I accidentally cover the wrong person. So he gets a 60-yard touchdown pass to Arian Foster, So now it's tied 31-31. But because of this, I have 3 timeouts and a minute and 50 seconds to score. I start doing short passes and just run the ball on draw plays, and I get to the 50-yard line, and then I do another draw, I get to the 45, do another one to center it, call the timeout with 6 seconds left, kick the field goal, go up 34-31 with 2 seconds on the clock, squib kick it, he doesn't return it worth a crap, and I get the win.
Oof, that sounds like a tough game.
Dude, heart attack city.
I bet that dude was just like, "Fuck! How do I just can't defend? No."
Both of us. Thing is, both of us threw like 4 interceptions and just constant turnovers and just
complete.
Madden seems to have done really well this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
well,
I'm happy about
it. Now, granted, we still got the rest of the year to go. It might make it on my top 10 list for the year.
That'd be interesting.
And Madden has never made it on my top 10 list.
I feel like that, like on one hand, it says something about Madden, but on another hand, it says something about this year.
Yeah, this year's been kind of slow.
Everything got pushed back. It's all happening. 2013. If December 21st, 2012 isn't the apocalypse, it's sure going to be by E3 of 2013. I don't know how video games are going to survive anymore. It's all those games come out, and then the new consoles, and then people's minds melt.
It's going to be a big shift next year. Like, shit's going down. The Wii U is going to come out. And Sony and Microsoft.
See what the Wii U does.
Sony and Microsoft are going to have to formulate something to combat that, because dear God.
They're either going to have to adapt to, because this is a console generation that is beginning at the same time as we are still like in the middle of coming out of, however you want to say it, in the middle of a recession. So throwing out a $400 machine, and that's moderately priced for as far as Microsoft and Sony are concerned in terms of console releases.
Like Ryan
throwing a $400 machine out sounds insane.
Yeah, Ryan Davis said it on fucking Twitter. It's just like, if the shitty video game system costs $350, how much do you think the ones you want are going to cost?
See, and the only way they're going to be able to compete with Nintendo the way they could have only hoped to compete with them with the Wii is if they drop that price. Mm-hmm. Man, that's huge.
And even then, like, Nintendo has that huge installed casual player base, and they're not ever going to let it go.
It's not just the casual base. Like,
no, I mean, like, families. The Wii is viewed as a family system.
The Wii is. The Wii U, I can't imagine that the Wii evidence
could be anything else but that. I mean,
the
Wii U has the controller and not the motion gimmick thing anymore, and has replaced Wii Sports with Nintendo Land, and that Nintendo Land only comes with the more expensive console, which is $100 more than what the Wii originally was.
And what you also have to remember is they're actually like getting publishers on board with this. Like, they're getting Activision to make a Call of Duty that takes use of the controller. They've
definitely learned from their Wii release, and they're trying to get those good third-party releases, or in the case of Bayonetta 2, second party, since they're publishing it. I mean, they're just trying to get out all the games they can to make the Wii U look great. They just want to get it out there. Hey, hardcore gamers, we got your stuff. Hey, casual gamers, we still are the same Nintendo. We are still going to cater to you guys super hard and give you exactly what you want, as in games that are easy to understand, easy to play, and are a lot of fun for the whole family. Kind of a thing. They're trying to not just keep what they already have, but also expand outwards.
I hope that with Nintendo Land, when they play through all the little Metroid-themed games and all the little Zelda-themed games, they'd be like, hey, maybe this could, bring new people to these franchises.
Exactly.
Well, that's what
and bring them up and bring them into the
Nintendo Land. They are trying to create a Wii Sports that is popular. It's popular, so it helps Nintendo. It gets people new to Nintendo used to those franchises, so that when their first party games come out, they'll know those and they'll go buy those. And then it also appeases the hardcore fans who, want to be on like the in crowd of that. Like, do you know what Metroid comes from? Do you know where Star Fox comes from? I do. Something like that. But instead of what happened with Wii Sports and the Wii controller, where the hardcores were left not knowing, we're basically at the same starting point as the newcomers.
Yeah.
One thing that Nintendo is going to have to battle, and we mentioned this multiple times every time we talk about the Wii U, all of these points, but I still have yet to see people outside of the enthusiast crowd acknowledge the Wii U as a console rather than an accessory to their Wii.
But like I think that people are starting to recognize that it's a new system because I feel as I know a couple people in that middle ground of gamer. Like they play video games, but they only own one system, and that's what they tend to stick with. And most of them like know what it is, but they're probably not buying it. And most people I do have talked to have said they're getting the hardcore gamers I've talked to say they're super interested in that tablet controller, and most people who actually demo it walk away from it fairly impressed. In fact, I walked away from it very impressed at PAX.
That controller looks great. I love the controller.
I mean, the Nintendo is doing everything right, or everything correct right now.
Yeah.
The thing, they just really need to have a strong start in the software department, because I really doubt that they're going to have too much trouble selling units of the Wii U, but they need some stuff to keep it alive for those that start, because like when the Wii came out there was like nothing. It was really lame.
Like there was Zelda, and then
there was Zelda. Mario came out eventually, and then started getting better. But like right at the start, it was like Zelda and Wii Sports, and everything else was just like shovelware and garbage as people tried to get used to the Wii U controls, developing for that. Lots of gimmick games that sucked really bad.
The first year of the Wii, from its launch in November, the first year and a half from its launch in November 06 till like March 08, like there was just tons of great games coming out for that thing all the time. Resident Evil 4, the better version of that, the better version of Okami, Zack and Wiki, No More Heroes, Mario, Zelda, Metro.
They really hit their stride. But at the beginning, it was just a little rough, and I hope that Nintendo learns from that. And it seems like they are, and they're just going to put out a really big batch of really good games to really kickstart the system and make people want to buy it day one rather than 5 months down the road.
I think that system, by the time that the next-gen consoles come out, other next-gen, Nintendo will be on their second wave of software, which means the new Mario or the new Retro Studios game, whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird now that we're in this like staggered console release schedule, because Nintendo puts out their stuff just earlier than Sony and Microsoft, and Sony and Microsoft seem like they're really in for the long haul with their consoles.
Not only that, Sony and Microsoft, they're going to be a lot more. They're going to be all about tech, more tech.
Well, yeah, they've always, that's their big point against Nintendo, is that their tech is way better.
But like the thing with me though is I just want good games. Like everyone's talking about like 1080p 30 frames per second, but like they're talking about $500 consoles being locked into a service, like all this other stuff. And I'm seriously thinking, like, I might just get a Wii U and stick to PC gaming. Because
that's what a lot of us are thinking.
Because fuck this. Like, really?
Yeah, the DRM that people are putting out now is just bonkers.
Like, I want everyone who is like, PC gaming is fucking, shit, or they don't want to deal with it, to go on The Escapist and go look up an episode of the Jimquisition called the Xbox 360 and PS3 are pretty much PC.
Can I just say, you were right when you say the Jimquisition is like a giant realization machine for me.
Yes.
It works, because I was like, you know what, this guy's right. And guess what? When you showed me the video about emotional games, it clicked to switch my brain as to why I didn't love Mass Effect 3. But I'll talk about that later. I'll let you guys continue with the Wii U.
Somber the entire time, but we'll get to that later.
I'll talk about that later. You guys continue about the Wii U.
I mean, look,
The thing that just sort of like hurts about being a PC gamer is that when you get those games that are ports from a console, and they're just ports that just didn't get enough love, stuff like Dark Souls, or which is a awful port, or stuff like Dungeon Defenders, which just is more suited for a controller. Just those types of things. It's just like you feel a little unloved as a PC gamer sometimes, just because of those sorts of things.
But I mean, the thing is that you can plug a fucking controller in. It's a PC.
Yes, but I mean,
my main problem with PC gaming is the whole: you're not going to get your Halo on it. You're not going to get.
Yeah, there are the exclusives.
The exclusives problem is
there are console exclusives, but my argument against that is the PC has some really interesting mods and interesting indie titles.
Yes, like for example, that
you're not going to get on the
console. I love mods.
Like DayZ is the shit, sir. I was last time I was at Quinn's place. I played DayZ, and that shit was horrifying. To quote Yahtzee, unreasonably cruel.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some play of it. It always just seems horribly unfair, where they just sort of stick you and you have nothing, and you're just like, well, time to survive.
But I had so much fun with it, and also another thing is you have shit like the Humble Indie Bundle.
Yes, you have fantastic, amazing things that come out on PC from modders and tons of indie stuff.
I love, for example, I love the fact you can get Ceratic armor from Infinity Blade 2 in Skyrim, and it looks really good.
Yeah, I love the fact that you can play Skyrim and have Macho Man Randy Savage, instead of hearing roars, you hear, oh yeah!
You can also have user-created levels for Portal 2.
Yeah, like...
There's tons of fantastic things that are just way better on the computer. But it's, those sorts of things do happen, and it's just kind of annoying when you don't own all the consoles, even if that is quite a large financial burden.
Here's my question to you guys. Would you rather own the PC and the Nintendo console, because it's always cheap, or would you rather own the Nintendo console and the two other consoles?
Well, I would take the PC every time, just because my PC does more than video games.
I mean, for gaming, let's say you'll have a PC at home that's just a fucking email, like a work machine, like you do your homework and email and shit and Facebook and shit. No real gaming. Well, would you rather have that? So which would you rather have there?
Well, it's hard to say, just because I think of my computer not just as for games, but also for Skype and for internet and for, watching movies and for...
I'm saying you can do all that. I'm saying, you can still have a computer that does everything else. It just has a shit video card so you can't play games on. Or would you rather have... would you rather have that and the three consoles, or would you rather?
I'm
kind of look at it
ingrained with my PC that I don't think I could let it go from having a good one that doesn't suck. So I guess I would have to go with the PC and Nintendo stuff. But
I'm kind of thinking to myself, when you bring up crappy video cards and the average PC, I think to myself, gee, console gaming seems so much less of a hassle. And then I realized that console gaming is also a hassle because of many different things you have to do just so you can have the proper enjoyment out of them.
Because when I boot up fucking Skyrim, I have to download 300 megs worth of patches.
And then install the game, and then put up with lots of loading screens. Versus, I don't know, hey, I turn on the Wii, put the game in, play the game. Yeah. Some loading screens, no biggie, just play the game.
Or
how about, but on Xbox, it was just you're greeted to the Xbox dashboard, and what do I see? Politics.
Yeah.
Italy. Why do I have to see politics?
Or no, my favorite Microsoft one, having to pay $50 or $60 now a year for fucking the Twitter use and like
YouTube, Facebook,
YouTube and
Hulu,
Netflix. For them to
Netflix.
not patch Fez because the dude for Fez doesn't have enough money to go through certification with Microsoft.
I can't.
That's
How does he not have enough money? Fez sold like hotcakes.
because it's stupid expensive. Oh, and the patch is too big. Because Microsoft cert only allows patches to be a certain size.
That's kind of
How
retarded.
did they patch Skyrim then? If Skyrim needs a 300 megabyte patch, how did they patch
Skyrim is a AAA game, and they can pay whatever the fuck they want to get a patch as big as they want.
Pretty much.
But the thing is, like, patches on the PS3 were always like 100 megabytes, whereas on the 360 it's like only 12, and I was like,
Partly because on the PS3, on the 360, their server side, that means they're fucking streamed from the fucking server. Notice when you turn off an Xbox game, or it's server side or it caches on the system, because you have all that disk space that they use for backwards compatibility and caching your data. So
Mhm.
what it does is they download part of it and the rest of it downloads while you play, or they just cache it all on the server side. And so what happens is if you haven't played that game for a while and you lose its cached data for whatever reason and you go and play it, it won't have the patch if you're not on the internet. So that's super.
Well, it's, server-side stuff is useful, but sometimes it's also annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really good way to save space and make downloads a lot faster if you're playing that game a lot. But if you take a break and then you have to, re-download the patch, it's kind of annoying.
I mean, what's annoying about Microsoft is, hey, I want to play Bastion today, but my internet's out, or I just, or for whatever reason, I'm somewhere where I don't have internet. I boot up Bastion. Would you like to download the full version of Bastion? Fuckers.
Yeah, that's absurd that they don't download the entire game. I can understand that for like patches or small things. The best way to do it would be to have it the way it is now, where you download it and it's a small thing and most of it is server side, but while you're playing the game, it continues to download the rest of the patch that is on the server into your console. So you're playing the full thing with the full patch, and in the background it's downloading the patch so that once, if you're offline or whatever, then you can just use it. But at the same time, it's not, it's not a long time, it's not interrupting your play or anything.
The thing is, though, is not every Microsoft console has a hard drive, or they don't have enough space, so they have to make it so it does in that little hard drive cache that the hard systems with hard drives have. And if your system doesn't have a hard drive, Microsoft's response to playing games that are patched offline is fuck off, go buy one. It's really irritating. Like, once again, and also, these fuckers, everyone's like, well, if you buy a PC game at retail, you have to enter code. It's just I have to do that on console now, too, because half the games I buy...
Hey guys, you want your online? Enter this code. And if you want this, enter another code. You want your free
You better buy
code.
new.
I feel...
You better buy new, or else there's no online for you, nerd.
Seriously, when I buy a car, I don't write a $1,000 check to Toyota because I bought a used car.
Seriously.
I feel as though that the console manufacturers basically have the consoles to hamstring you, fucking, to treat you like a criminal and to protect their IP are basically the two reasons it's there. And I feel more respected on the PC. First off, it's easier to get my games. Games are significantly cheaper. Even if you don't pirate.
Yep. For example, Steam Summer Sales. I got Skyrim for
Oh
half
god,
off.
Steam Summer Sale. Don't say those evil words.
Yeah,
Great
My wallet
word.
is
Well,
nearby.
yes.
Don't say that.
See, if I ever taught a marketing class and told them, okay, here's how you sell, I would say, here's how you get someone to submit to compulsory purchases. Make it super cheap.
I bought
They can't stop themselves.
I bought Dear Esther, have not touched it, and I bought fucking Civ 5 have barely touched it.
I have yet to play Fallout 3 New Vegas. What was the other one? Hunted Demon's Forge, which is terrible, and that one shooter.
Because of those Steam sales, like everyone I know on Steam has a bunch of games that they've never played.
Yeah, I definitely like. I picked up Yes Origin and I played like an hour of it, and that's it. Like I just dropped it. I was just like, well, at least it was cheap.
Yeah,
that was my excuse. Was at least it was cheap. Like just a couple days ago, on Steam they were selling the Deus Ex bundle, and it was like $15, and I was like, oh, that's such a good deal. But I need to pay for gas, but
See, for me, it was like I bought
fucking during the Steam summer sales last year. I bought Borderlands and all of its DLC for $7.
Yeah, like it's stuff like that. Like, you just can't resist. Like I don't even like that much, but boy, is it cheap.
Yeah,
for the Steam...
like man, Borderlands was okay, and I'd like to give it another shot. Man, $7 for all the content ever made for it and the game? Fuck yeah!
I freaking, in addition to getting Skyrim as part of the Bethesda pack, it didn't really run too great on my laptop. So what did I do? Found that Oblivion was really cheap and bought that, and then realized, crap, I didn't really want Oblivion again. Oh well, it was only $15 for everything, including horse armor, so why the hell not?
I mean, like, I remember, I remember one year I just went nuts on indie games. And look at the Humble Indie Bundle.
There is a new one, right?
There's a new one, just came out. You spend $6 and you get a bunch of awesome games and the soundtrack for all of them. Like, on the PC, I'm treated like a valued customer. On the console, I'm treated like a criminal. You know?
Or someone who's really retarded.
Yeah, like, you know, and the supposed convenience isn't there, because on Microsoft, I have to be connected to the internet and paying for it at all times. And for Sony, I still have installs, and I still have fucking long download times. Oh, and Microsoft, I have to put up with ads, even though I pay for their service.
Yes, like this time they're trying to shove politics down your throat, too, as if frickin' I didn't see enough of that in my mailbox.
Yeah, like, just, oh, God, it's so irritating. Once again, everybody, please go to the escapistmagazine.com, look up a show they have on there called the Jimquisition, and look up consoles are just very crap PCs or something like that. It's in his archive. What you do is he'll have the logo for his show. It premieres Monday, and then above it, above the current video, whatever it is, click Jimquisition and just scroll through there and look for it.
I very much think that I did enjoy the way consoles were before this generation. In that, in that they were specifically for games.
You turn it on, it plays a game.
It plays a game. You don't install anything. There's nothing like that. Your game console is for your games, and it's not that I don't like that they're integrating everything, but when I get on my console, it's like what I want to do is probably not Facebook.
Well, they're trying. Well, obviously
Twitter. It's probably not anything
like
Microsoft
that.
It's probably video games, and like they don't quite recognize that. Like I understand the want to like make it to make consoles more like a home entertainment system. That's what they're sort of moving to.
One and only.
It's the center. System. The center of your home entertainment system is the Xbox or the PS3, where you can watch ESPN and use Twitter and Facebook and all this stuff. And it's just like, I don't feel that that's a good way to go about it, just because I don't know about you guys, but I've certainly never used any of those things because I have a computer that does all of those things 3 times better.
Like the things I use Netflix.
Netflix is the exception to the rule. Netflix is fantastic to have on your console because usually you have your console connected to your TV, and TV is where you want to watch movies and shows like that. So that is the perfect thing to have on your console.
And I used ESPN during college football season because it's an easy way to get college football games. You know, but like other than that, you're absolutely right. Like none of that. I remember like, oh, dude, that's cool, Facebook on my Xbox. Only time I ever used that is when I was in the beta, so I tested it out. And when I didn't have a working computer and I wanted to go on Facebook, so that was there for me.
Yeah, it was just like the shitty alternative that you had to use because there was no other option. It wasn't something that you wanted to use or anything like that because you own a computer. If you own a console, there's a pretty damn good chance that you have a computer. You know, like doing all those, like trying to make a console into replacing some of the things the computer does. It's not a good idea for these companies to try and even do that. Like, it's just not smart in a business sense because I don't think I've ever heard of people really using those things for like any reason ever. Like what would you need Twitter for on your console when you have a computer or a smartphone that can do the same thing way faster because it has a keyboard that you can use your thumbs on?
I understand a little bit because you can look at your Facebook pictures on your TV.
I guess, but I mean, that just doesn't seem like big enough of a draw. I really think they need to focus more on the game part of it and making that experience fantastic rather than trying to do this really broad, expanded view where they're trying to like cater to everyone and cater to every need. They need to really focus down on the games and make that experience, the experience that you buy a console for, really worth it and fantastic. Because I don't know about you guys, but I sure didn't buy my Xbox to look at goddamn Facebook. I bought it to play video games.
But the demographics they're aiming for probably
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing you got to remember, though, is Sony tried doing that forever. Like, you had apps on your PS3, but their big focus at E3 was games. And, like, 2008 through 2011, their E3s, and even this E3, with the exception of Wonderbook, were fucking games, all games, all the time.
And that's just what console gaming should be, is just games. That should be like the console marketing ad campaigns, just games. Because that's what I want to goddamn do on my PS3.
Word processing.
Your computer can be everything because it's a computer.
Well, the thing you're forgetting here, though, is Microsoft got the lead in North America, and Microsoft marketed that, oh, these are machines for everyone now. They can do everything. So, like, that's why this trend has started, and because they're the market leader, you know, Sony has followed suit. But the problem now, Sony, if they had an interface, like, if they didn't have these retarded, like, bad interfaces, like, not as far as, you know, using it online and downloading stuff and just dumb decisions. Like, I showed you that episode of that show the other week, and, like, it's totally right. Like, the reason Sony shit is pirated a lot and fucked up a lot is just that. Like, it's inaccessible, it's not friendly, and I was on the PSN store today on my fucking Vita, and I thought, man, you know, Final Fantasy VIII would be a great game to play. I can play, you know, I thought, oh, they'll totally have that for, on the, you know, PSN store for Vita. They don't yet, because in North America, they're releasing those out at a trickle instead of releasing them all at once like they did in Japan. Like, why? Like, why?
Yeah, I've always tried to tell people that the best defense against piracy is to make something that people want, for one, and something that people will pay for and use that is good from the get-go. You don't need this other shit. Like, the reason people pirate stuff is because it's better in a lot of cases than buying it. You get that, like you were saying, you get treated like a person rather than a criminal when you're pirating. What? That doesn't make sense, but that's what it is. Like, when it's when it's easier to pirate something, that's why people pirate. That's iTunes proved it with music, Netflix proved it with movies. When there are always those people who will pirate everything, and those people suck. But there are a lot of people like me who, you know, aside from cost, which usually when I fucking pirate a game that's like that I want, I eventually go out and buy it anyways. It's just like pirating is holding me over until I have money to go buy it. But, you know, you just need to make your stuff easy to get, great to use.
I mean, look at Steam. I will never pirate PC games. You want to know why? Because Steam saves my credit card info. It's all right there. And
Steam is fantastic.
I do 2 clicks. It's just like, buy this game. Are you sure? Yep. Okay.
And done. And it's you're away and downloading. And then, not just that, but Steam's DRM is really not restrictive at all. You can install that game on as many computers as you want. You can play it on all those computers. Even you don't even have to be signed in and online. Well, you have to be signed in, but not online. You just sign into your Steam account and go into offline mode, and you're able to play those games still, even though you're not online.
Yeah.
Like, Steam's DRM is very unrestrictive. It's very open in that it lets you do almost exactly what you want to do. And the only real restriction on it is that you can't, you know, the way you can only play the games that are on your account, which is completely fair. You don't have to be online. You don't have to, you know, do any crazy shit like put in 12,000 passwords, you know, for each different computer. Well, you have to do like a one password when you log into Steam on a different computer, and they email it to you, and it's really easy. It's not hard.
Well,
and Steam is a fantastic service because it is geared to you, not to making like a bunch of money and then screwing you over. It's made because they want you to goddamn play games, and that's just how it should be.
You know, and I feel as though that another big thing is with Steam and with iTunes, the ease of use is a big factor. Like once again, with iTunes, I press a button, I have my fucking whatever it is I was going to
Exactly.
And another big part of it is just getting treated fucking correctly, and like there's such this stigma against PC gaming. Like, it's so hard to build a rig and keep it up, and dude,
it's easier these days than it was back then.
The way PC parts are in this day and age, almost anyone can build a computer.
Building a PC these days is like putting Legos together. It's easy as hell. Like seriously, just go look up a video on YouTube, a 5-minute video, and you will know how to build a computer. And it's the simplest thing ever.
You need a step-by-step walkthrough. There's this site called Tested.
There's tons and tons of websites about building computers. You're not gonna find like a lack of info on how to build a computer when you're looking on the internet from a computer. It's not hard to build a computer. You know, I can understand not wanting to look through tons of online sites looking for parts and buying them separately, and that's why they have full-built PCs ready for you to buy. Yes, it is a little more expensive, but if you don't want that hassle, you could just buy a goddamn PC. It's
if you want to save cost and have the cost to be equivalent of buying the 2 next-gen systems, which I'm saying they're going to be $500 a piece. That's what they're going to be. If you want the equivalent of buying the 2 next-gen consoles, and that's going to be about $1,000 plus tax, about $1,100. You can build a really good PC with minimal effort, and just look up the parts. It'll be no problem. Be quick and easy.
$1,000 would get you a fantastic PC.
Mine
really good PC.
Mine costed.
People say, "Oh, well, I can't." You can plug it into your computer. Once again, Jim Sterling went through all the arguments against PC gaming, other than complication, which we've gone through. It's just like, oh, well, I like to play games on my couch, hooked into my HD TV. Well, most PCs have an HDMI out nowadays, and if you're building one, you know that'll have an HDMI out if you want that. Well, I like to play third-person games with a game controller. Well, you can hook it in. Well, I like online gaming. Well, honestly, Steam is basically free Xbox Live without advertisements. And you know what the great part about Steam is? It even works for games that aren't on Steam. Like, I can say, hey, I am playing this non-Steam game, add it to my game library Steam so people know I'm playing.
Yeah.
You know?
Boy, it really fucks with me when games, like, they get on Steam, but they're not using the Steam, like, online service. Like, Dark Souls pisses me off with that shit. They use Games for Windows Live.
So,
Even though I'm on Steam, I bought the game from Steam. Steam is not the service that handles the online. It's Games for Windows Live, and that shit is awful. Like, it's so hard to connect to people, like, just to, like, co-op with anyone, or even get invaded and kill me properly because Games for Windows Live is so garbage.
Nope.
yeah, okay, car. But, like, yeah, exactly. You know, just there's no, like, with the exception of the exclusives, such as Uncharted and Metal Gear and such, and Metal Gear is getting moved to the PC now.
Is it?
Final Fantasy is getting moved to the PC, and, like, really, the reason, it's going to get to the point where the reason to have a console and hang on to the consoles is getting slimmer and slimmer. And consoles the gap between consoles and PCs keeps closing, but not in the right ways. In all the wrong ways. Long install times, fucking horrible DRM, fucking, just every possible way that they could, just fucking, like, do PC gaming, or what PC gaming was, but bad is the way things are going. Ugh.
The other problem I think I have with the consoles, it hasn't been as much of a problem before this, but more recently it's become, just because the longer development cycles that consoles are going through now, like we're sort of switching to this longer, I think everybody was saying it was going to be a 10-year cycle this time instead of a 5-year cycle.
Oh my! Wow.
That was the prediction, anyways, and I tend to agree that it's going to be at least 7 years, as it has been so far, and it makes it so that console hardware, it doesn't change. An Xbox 360 is an Xbox 360. No matter what one you buy, it's going to have the same stuff in it. It's going to play the same games in the same way. But PC is always, improving, always new video cards and processors coming out that, drive this stuff forward. And with consoles staying right where they are, it makes it hard to develop games for the PC and the consoles, just because the console is so far behind that it's like you're making almost two completely different sets of things. You have to just dumb down all of these graphics and sound, and you have to compress all this stuff.
Well, one thing that you got to remember, an argument against PC, and that's used just all the time, is, well, fucking that PC gaming is too complicated, and I just, like, and you have to upgrade all the time. That's what it's like, well, you have to upgrade your video card every year. No, you don't.
I swear you can go out there and buy a video card for $80 or $100, and it will look better than a 360 game at a higher resolution with higher frame rates.
No, completely.
But, like, if you right now, if you were to go buy a 660,
or even a 650,
if you buy a 650 or 660,
or even, you know what? I'm gonna just use this example. I have a GeForce GTX 550 in my computer. This thing currently costs on the market for $110, maybe $100 if you can get a rebate. And this thing runs Skyrim perfectly, 1600 by 900 resolution, everything on max settings at 60 frames.
Yeah, and like,
flawless.
Way worse on the console, where your resolution, it's upscaled to 1080p. It's not even 1080p. It's 720p, and it's scaled up because, when you get a console game, it's way locked down in resolution, way lower. You have almost either no anti-aliasing or ×2 anti-aliasing. None of these other amazing things that just make games look so much better. And then you put it on a PC with, like, a cheap, let's say, $600 PC. Could run any game that's coming out these days. at the same or better quality than a console can.
Well, the thing is,
I mean,
this huge jump
I
is.
have a mid-range laptop. It's I have a NVIDIA 335M, 8 gigs of RAM in it, and with overclocking a 1.8 gigahertz i5. And I run most modern games above what consoles run. I get 720p because that's my monitor size. And I get usually 30 frames per second, in some cases 60, and it looks so much better even on the mid to high settings that I'm like, and like there's a big misconception with it too. Like I ran Battlefield last year 30 frames per second on high, like not hot, not all fucking their highest settings, but on mid to high. Some was high, some was medium, and I was getting 30 frames, and like. Fucking this one guy I talked to was like, dude, no way. And I'm like, yeah, way.
The reason this, yeah, I kind of
like you're gonna have to upgrade your computer a lot when the next gen consoles come out because they're gonna set a fucking new standard and blah blah blah. But like, I would say the best time to upgrade would be a year after the new consoles are out. That's when you want to build a new PC because that's when they're gonna get settled into the specs of those systems. And you're going to be able to build something decently ahead of it. Sorry, Anthony, go ahead.
You remember back in the days when we said, man, the games look so great that the next generation, new graphics isn't going to make things look that big of a jump anymore. You remember when we said that back then?
Yes.
These days, I kind of think that once you get the 1080p with all the advancement they made in the PC graphics world, I think people are going to be like, whoa! And you don't even need to put 3D glasses on to see how cool and how sharp games can look these days.
I think the big
hardware
thing is like I think games do look fine now, especially when they're like the PS3 exclusives or the more.
Yes, but to me, I mean, I don't want.
I'm not done. The thing I want, and I've said it before, is I just want everything to run at 60 frames, 1080p. Like if they just keep games the way they look now, but do that addition. I will be perfectly content.
For cost reasons, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But for me, I look at things and I mean, I know graphics is everything, but I look at it as like everything looks kind of dated.
I agree with you, Anthony.
And it's just like there's nothing truly wrong with it, but it feels like a little old. Like we kind of taken tiny little nudges forward, but we haven't taken the next big leap.
It's definitely been a while since we had like a jump in graphics.
Because let's be honest,
like, oh my god, that is the most beautiful thing.
This year, it will be 7 years. It will be 7 years since 7 years since the 360 came out. Now, in 1990, I think everyone still had an NES. And then we went through the amazing sprite 16-bit days, and then in 97 it was the N64, the PS1, and the Saturn with our 3D graphics. So we went from like really primitive 8-bit games to 3D graphics in 7 years. So it could be a big jump.
It could be a big jump, but my thing is I wouldn't care. I
won't lie to you, Bronson. I think that when those new consoles come out and they really get in their stride, because I mean, the first games that come out on a console, they're getting used to the technology and all that. I mean, like if you go back and look at the first Xbox 360 game, stuff like Cameo, it looks way worse than what we have now.
Oh, it does absolutely.
Like it looks more like an N64 game.
Perfect Dark recently, and that looked awful. And
yeah, like when you go back, you play those games, and they look really bad.
I actually think Cameo, because the art holds up, and which brings me to the next point is the such depressing thing about the jump to HD is gray and brown were so
the dominant color palette.
And the best looking games in HD and the best looking things in HD in general are things with a bunch of color and whatnot. Like you look at Uncharted 2, and part of the reason why Uncharted 2 and 3 are gorgeous is because they aren't gray and brown and fucking, they have so much color to them. And You know, the reason that a game like Viva Pinata is so gorgeous is because, dude, like, just
Well, I mean, you can say that about like animation.
Joe cut out.
Am I cutting out?
Yeah,
Is it better?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Any game that is more of a stylistic look is always going to look better in hindsight, just because of the improvements that are always being made. But I really, really think that when these new consoles come out and people are game developers are really able to really push graphics forward again, like they haven't been able to do that in a while. Push them forward a lot, that is. You're going to really notice it. I really think you are. When you go and you look at stuff like the new Unreal Engine trailer that they showed for that, and any of the new graphics graphics engines, any of the tech demos that they've put out for those, you can really see big differences, and they're more subtle than they used to be. You know, it's not 8-bit to 16-bit, it's not 2D to 3D, but there are these small changes. It's more in the details now. You know, the lighting is correct, and light bounces off of surfaces properly, and there's ambient light and all that kind of stuff. It's all the little things that just make it look fantastic. Instead of, like, when you look at a game that comes out now, you're like, wow, that looks really good. It's gonna go back to that point that we've been missing. We haven't had this I don't think we've really had this in a long while, where you were like, oh my gosh, this game looks beautiful. Well, this is absolutely beautiful.
When was the last game that made you say that? Like,
oh, good lord.
I actually can figure that. 2. I could figure that out, actually.
Skyrim kind of did that. But
and I'm not talking about art style, like artistically.
Yeah.
Oh. No. Skyrim partially, not completely. From a macro standpoint, when you're looking at, like, a mountain range in the distance, sort of a thing, it very much impressed me. From a micro standpoint, when you look down at the fucking ground and you see that the texture looks like garbage, not so much. But when was the last time a game really impressed me with its graphics? I don't know. It's been a really long time since I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
For me, the last big one, looking at my collection, was probably God of War 3 or Uncharted 2. Those were the last two that I was just like, holy shit.
I would agree with God of War 3. That game was crazy when it came out. It was so much bigger and just insane how much they had done with the graphics between, especially when you just look at God of War 2 to God of War 3. It's so much more that it just really wows you how impressive it is. I think that the new consoles coming out, not just the Wii U, that's less of an impressive thing since it's sort of catching up. But when the new consoles come out for Sony and Microsoft, once they get past their little, learning stages, it's going to really, really impress you. Like, it's going to be we're going to get back that really big wow factor.
The thing that will really...
Well, like, I know for me at this point, I have gotten to where I think games look good enough to the point where I want innovation in gameplay.
I agree with you.
But before...
like... The 1080p, the 60 frames per second, that needs to be a standard. It's unacceptable that there are games that can't get up to that, especially when it's like, oh, it got up to that on this console, and then on the other console it's like 30 frames a second. That it's really frustrating, just when you have those little things. And with the extra power, I think that they do need to focus on having a smooth game.
Now that I think about that question, I answered. For me, it had to be Uncharted 2 was the last game that I was like, this is amazing. This looks so good.
And can you imagine going back to the time where every single game that comes out is like, oh my god, oh my god.
There was a period from 2008, beginning of 2008 to early 2010, where that's what it really was, because. 05 through 07 were really the learning stages. Like, games did look good. for their time. Like, they looked improved, you know. But in '08 and onward, you really had some games that just graphically, technically, wowed me. You know, like I mean, I remember looking at Metal Gear and looking at Little Big Planet and Gears 2.
And those games wow you. They're fantastically, like they were so above and beyond what you would
There
see.
are a lot of games that wow me artistically. Catherine did that. The Walking Dead.
Well, certainly, but that's a different sort of thing. But I really think that graphics, they haven't stopped improving. They're just different kinds of improvements, is what it is. We're getting closer to where a character in a video game, it's no longer like just a texture and a model, and then the mouth flaps move. It's become
I think
so detailed with the facial movements and recognizing that they have emotions. The point where, like, goddamn pupils dilate and stuff. Like, we're getting down to the details that really flesh out a character and make them real.
I remember at the Zero Punctuation panel, it's this panel called The Hour of Love, where Yahtzee and Jim Sterling can only say nice things about what people bring up to them. And they're like, okay, kissing animations in video games, just like, well, I really like it when it looks like two puppets are very fond of each other.
Yeah, and like that's like stuff like that is really gonna like improve a lot. Things like models interacting with each other.
Like the biggest thing for me is touch, like capes, and like in Heavy Rain. You and I played through Heavy Rain together, and that game looked graphically amazing. Most of it did, through most of it.
Go back and play that game. It's really not very impressive.
It still looked pretty good, because I have played through it recently. But the thing that looked bad was that kissing scene.
Oh, yeah. Like, they're going to get... That's the thing. Like, little things like that. Models touching each other and stuff like... skin has it gives way when you touch it.
Joe?
In the cheek, and their face doesn't move. Their cheek indents in. We're going to get that stuff, the little stuff that really makes it real. And I'm excited for it.
I would love to see proper hair.
Hair would be fantastic.
Which they accomplished in the graphics world 3 years ago.
No, they've gotten much better at hair.
It's
not just this static thing
on
their head. It flows and it moves, and the good people who are really on top of it, they have weather affected aside from wind. It's not just blowing in the breeze. When it rains, their hair flattens down and becomes soggy, or after it dries, it's all frizzy. Just the little things. I really think it's going to be more noticeable than you think.
Anyway,
something I wanted to say is that what we probably need is that just don't have like a power race like this gen is about, which is like we got more cores than you do. And I think what people need to what they need to focus on is let's put more memory into these machines so that way textures don't get compressed and look like absolute garbage. And let's put a modern chip in it so that way it runs like all the cool DirectX 11 stuff or OpenGL stuff. Like the new tech, you just don't need a horsepower race.
Yeah, exactly.
You need memory, because obviously in Mass Effect 3 you could really tell there's a memory problem when every room had to load.
Well, I mean, a big problem with it is that we're on 7-year-old hardware. It's not new. It's old shit. Like
6 in the case of the other one, but yes, yeah.
7, 6. It's still a long time to stay on the same hardware. From a hardware perspective, that's a long ass time.
I feel as though the 360 is the one that feels more dated. Like, I look at stuff like the graphically intense games for the 360 this year is Halo 4. It looks really good, but then I look at Beyond and The Last of Us, and I'm just like, yeah, like I'm more impressed by that. And I think a lot of that does have to do with the fact that the PS3, that they did invest in what at the time just seemed like the most asinine thing in the world, an 8-core processor. fucking.
It was absurd for the time, but now it's more normal.
Like now,
Now
Now
not
it's like
that
there's
weird.
no system memory. Seriously,
Yeah, like, they
the
need
amount
to
of
focus
actual
on
RAM
memory.
that's in the PS3 is about the same amount of RAM you will find in a computer from 2003.
Doesn't the Xbox 360 have like 512 megabytes
Split,
of RAM?
split. It
Yeah.
basically the programmers can decide how much they want for the system, how much they want for graphics. Whereas
Like it's
PS
absurd. It's so
Whereas-
so small.
and in the PS3 you only had 256 megabytes of RAM, which is what you would find in a computer from 2002. So
And like I would recommend for a
they pretty much got
computer-
obsessed with horsepower. So
Go ahead.
yeah. But
Total silence.
no, just pretty much saying it's like they got a bit too obsessed with total horsepower and pretty much memory becomes a bottleneck.
Yeah.
Slow
But I
media
mean, like,
too, but
when I think of a computer, if I'm like recommending what to buy in a computer, I almost always tell people that they probably need about 4 gigs of RAM, and you
Yeah.
should be fine. You know,
which these
like,
days
and that's
these days RAM is plentiful in computers.
yeah,
And
it's
you like
RAM
and
is-
you don't need to upgrade it anymore. It's not like it's the biggest breath of fresh air like it used to be. It's
no. I mean,
plentiful.
like, what would be really impressive is if they put goddamn solid state drives in consoles, but we know that's
Oh
not.
my goodness, that would be
That would be crazy.
That would cause us. That would definitely cause
Well-
$600 consoles.
well. What you
Well,
can
I mean-
have is a hybrid hard drive. So
You
basically,
can't. No, that would be a fantastic idea. Getting those hybrid hard drives would be the best
currently
idea.
though they're kind of expensive still. Like 500 gigabytes is still $100, but dang,
Well,
it's
I
better
mean,
than
like-
your one.
I think that if it was building a computer, I know it's not when you're talking about console, but it's the same parts. If you're building a computer, the consoles are so much less than you would think, and getting the same spec, like a good processor, 4 gigs of RAM, a decent video card, and a solid state drive, and a moderately sized hard drive,
and a Blu-ray drive.
and a Blu-ray drive. Even then, like $600 for that would have been way more. Like it's gonna
The thing
just
after-
from the goddamn
Oh,
solid
they're
state, that would be so much better.
Profit on these.
Yeah,
And they have to mass manufacture them. It's not like when we build it ourselves. Like if you want to build, like I guarantee you, the next
no, that's a good point. That is
like they're gonna come out and they're probably gonna have the equivalent of a 680 GT for the graphics card.
Right, well, yeah, that's if they decide to get obsessed with power again instead of common. Like maybe you guys should work the user interface
they need
and
to
user
they need
friendliness.
to figure out where their bottleneck is, and in this
case,
generation,
it's in this
memory.
case, yeah, the memory is just so little of it. It just takes forever. Environments have to be smaller, and if they if they are
gives you-
huge, then you have to compress everything.
But,
Yeah,
like,
it
I-
gives
I
you
think
shit draw distance. It gives you shit loading times. It gives you just all this troubled problems.
On
that
the
are so-
bright side, though, this
Like,
bottleneck.
the big thing with Sony is the reason I feel that like they had less of an issue with that with the PS3, and is because that Blu-ray disc, because they have to stream that shit off the disc, and they can have that cache not on the memory but on the cell. Like the cell was very interesting, but. Well, like, yes, memory is the huge bottleneck this time around, but, like, do you want it to be the fucking just raw power next time around? Because there's going to be a bottleneck somewhere on every console, because they
I'm
have...
guessing in the future it's probably going to be the storage media.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would rather.
The thing is,
they
on the
just
bright
have it so
side,
the bottleneck isn't a huge bottleneck and is rather just a small one, where it's not. Like it is now, where it's like it's a big bottleneck to only have 512 megabytes of RAM. That's a horrible bottleneck. But like I'd rather it just be like a small bottleneck anywhere than a huge bottleneck.
yeah, I'm guessing, yeah. On the bright side, though, the one bright side I see to the small memory problem is that programmers have to be very good with being efficient with memory. So when all of a sudden when you have all of this headroom, pretty much it can make really massive environments
I think
when they have this kind of efficiency coding.
I think because that a lot of bad developers are going to make a lot of stupid decisions early on. They're
Well,
gonna,
that always seems to happen when a new console comes out. People
For
try
God's-
stuff and experiment, and
This
that's a good thing.
This is
It's
a bit of a
not-
technical problem, but when the new systems comes out, it's like, look at all the memory. We're gonna get lazy and not check for memory leaks, and then our games will crash when they run for more than 2 hours. Oh joy!
Yeah, that kind of stuff does happen.
Yeah.
More than it should. But I mean, I'm not gonna knock him too hard. Like, I understand it's almost a license to get lazy, but it's also a license to make really cool stuff that we just couldn't make before. So, I feel like we'll be really overwhelmed by how much more we can do than like how kind of experimental and maybe not polished things are. And I like that part about a new console coming out. It's almost like a new frontier. Not everything is super perfect, and we're still getting the rough spots worked out and all that. But it makes room for new, really really new experiences to come out, rather than just like Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Oh
Yeah,
boy.
they actually did mention that the whole.
Guys. Ashton, what's your take on all this? Because you've been very.
I kind of tuned out there. You guys started talking about PC parts, and I was like, okay, this is not. I don't
Okay, yeah, but
know. What are we talking about?
what was I thinking
The
about
next
again?
gen consoles and horsepower.
Say that one more time.
The next gen consoles and how powerful they'll be and their arrival and such.
Graphics
Oh, okay.
mostly.
It's all about the graphics.
Yeah, the graphics.
Oh, not the graphics. Graphics totally don't matter. Yes, they do.
The graphics.
I mean, I'm probably going to sum up my whole argument right here so you guys can continue on with wherever you left off. I don't really care too much at this point. I totally notice that we are certainly not at the end of... I remember Yahtzee making a statement a couple years ago about how graphics aren't going to get much better than this. Yeah, they are, but I'm not going to have... I'm not going to care too much anymore. I'm fine with where they're at. We're out of that weird, uncanny valley for the most part. Hair still needs to get worked on. Kissing scenes need to get less awkward.
And add more features to add a modern graphics with the features. Don't get obsessed with cramming in a CUDA core with 1024 little cores or whatever.
No,
just get a modern chip in there with the modern graphic features.
I don't know. I'd be pretty down for one of the companies at least to go with ridiculous, stupid technology again. But
I have no problem with it. They can go ahead and do it. I just don't care
I
anymore.
somehow have the impression it may be Microsoft.
No way, it's gonna be Nintendo, dude.
judging by the
Car.
Motorcycle.
Motorcycle. That was a loud one.
Judging by the Vita, I think Sony's gonna do it again with the fucking.
Guys, well, actually, the problem is that the rumor is that Sony's going to go conventional this time. They're not going to go overboard with Cell 2.0. They're going to do with the conventional, more PC-like architecture with a PowerPC core and AMD graphics. Like they're, taking a step down and coming back down to Earth instead of shooting straight for the moon. So,
damn, I was hoping for something stupid. Like
The reason I don't care too much about this is because they shouldn't be caring about this too much. The Wii proved it last generation, is that graphics aren't everything. And, a lot of the cost of the PS3 had to do with all that horsepower that they threw in. And it was an amazing system. But we couldn't afford it then, and we certainly can't afford it now after the recession. So, I mean... really, we just need to concentrate on making great games.
The last time that a system won the console war when they were technically, more technology, had more tech, was the fucking Super Nintendo. The PS1 was weaker than the N64, the PS2 was weaker than the fucking...
Xbox and GameCube.
Was weaker than the Xbox and GameCube, far weaker, in fact. It took...
It was about just like the next generation,
It
but
took
with the Wii.
3 PS2s to make a fucking original Xbox. And God, how many Wiis would it take to make a 360?
How many Wii's did it take to make... I have no idea. But, okay, We seriously probably need to get to a new section soon. But okay, the 360 has a tri-core processor that runs at I think 3 gigahertz.
Okay.
The Wii has a single-core processor that runs at 724 megahertz, and it is essentially a GameCube enhanced It's an enhanced GameCube processor.
Okay.
So that's pretty much trying to compare a 2004 computer with.
It would take 15 Wii's.
Ugh.
It would take.
For processor power only, of course. But
That's just clock speed. That doesn't count. That is just clock speed. Yeah.
Well, I'm counting in like, okay, obviously it takes that it takes 15. I include the fact that it's a tri-core processor for the 360. If it wasn't, it would be fucking 5 Wii's. So yeah, it takes goddamn 15 Wii's on the processor side to make a 360. It took 3 PS2s to make an original Xbox. So fucking like horsepower means nothing, like
it doesn't mean as much as having,
Like
games,
it's not as big of a deal as it was
Yes,
back in the days when blast processing was a big deal.
blast processing.
Oh,
it still makes
man.
me laugh. That's still
Yes.
Wow.
blast processing. Mode 7
was
graphics.
The PS2 was significantly weaker than the original Xbox and GameCube, but it still had amazing looking games on it.
PS2 won really hard. Like,
Well, yeah,
PS2 is still considered by tons of people to be the best console of all time.
you know what? I'm going to start that discussion now. What do you consider to be the best console of all
Oh,
time?
we're doing this
Well,
now.
the PS2.
No.
So why?
Because that
From a
shit
historical
was bad.
perspective, either the NES or the PS2.
Okay. From your own personal opinion, Anthony?
Mm.
Your own personal opinion on it? What is the best?
Well, are you talking about like my personal opinion?
What's your
Your
favorite?
personal favorite console of all time. Best console, yes.
Oh, I have no idea actually. I don't
Ashton,
know.
what's your Super Nintendo?
3DO.
I thought you were going to say Endgame.
Gotta go all obscure on us.
What about the pimpin'?
The
I
Pippin,
mean,
yeah.
yeah.
Guys, that's
God.
a Saturn. Oh,
Fine, man. I'll just go fucking ColecoVision. That's my shit.
Sure.
It's all about that
Not
ColecoVision.
the Magnavox Odyssey.
No way, man.
Oh, the
That's
Magnavox,
too
yep.
That's too mainstream.
Oh, okay.
Gotta go with ColecoVision.
You know what? I like the Atari Lynx. What's up?
Yeah.
What about the
Lynx.
5200?
Oh, God.
It's
Yeah.
amazing because it never
It's
works.
actually pretty common. More common than you'd think it to be, anyway.
If you want to go mainstream, we'll talk about the Atari VCS.
Man, who does not like the Atari 1500? It introduced an analog stick.
Analog stick was that was the joystick, pretty much.
Oh man, that's too mainstream. Gotta stick with my one button
And,
and knobs. I love my knobs.
no, bro. What about
Yeah, you love your knobs.
Oh,
Okay, so seriously, like, if I had to choose my personal taste, I would say Super Nintendo. But as far as best console, I mean, I would have to give it to. Oh God. I guess I would have to give it to the PS2. I mean, that game.
My personal taste is PS2, and if you told me, hey, we're doing an article on best console, what do you think it is? I would, objectively, I'd say PS2.
Right. You have to consider at the time, that was the generation where we finally understood how to do 3D graphics, because PlayStation 1 64 era was a weird time artistically and technically, trying to understand how to get that all to work. But when we got there, you see Metal Gear Solid 2 gameplay, it's like, you know what, if graphics stayed at this level, I would not have that big of a problem with it.
But
If you see Shadow of the Colossus, there are clearly improvements to be made on it, as there are improvements to be made on this generation's games. But at this point, we're out of that weird valley that we were in before, and so I was fine from that angle. I love the PlayStation controller. That was perfect. the way it was, and which is why they didn't really change it that much for the next generation. And they had a ton of great games, which is one of the reasons I like Super Nintendo. Was it had a lot of great games. That was one hell of a thing.
Yeah. Okay, so on that topic, Anthony, news.
Right, the news. 3 hours into this podcast.
Phew, this is a long one.
Let's do it.
Marathon.
It feels like it. All right, so the Tokyo Game Show is currently happening, or was happening, and got some Dragon's Dogma news. I like Dragon's Dogma, and there's going to be a major expansion coming in 2013 called The Dark Arisen. Not much details I could find. Also, at the end of the year, they're adding a speedrun mode and a hard mode for those who really like the hardcore nature. Also, but
Anthony,
yeah.
I just want to add this real quick. Do you think when I get there I can borrow Dragon's Dogma? Do you have it?
Yeah, I have it.
Do you think I could borrow it for like a
I
week?
forgot, what system did you get it for?
PS3.
How are the trophies in that game? Because
The trophies are...
well,
I wouldn't say they're hard to get, though. I mean, I unlocked quite a bit in my first playthrough.
You and your trophy war.
I'm gonna catch that.
I gotta catch him. I gotta catch that fucker.
Gotta collect them all.
Where is he at now?
Mitch or Brandon?
Mitch. I don't know. Where's
I'm
Brandon?
never gonna catch Mitch. It ain't happening. That dream is dead. He has
Where is he at?
he's level 18 with 46 platinums.
Wow. Where are you?
Level 14 with 6 platinums.
Dude, we have to, when we get together, we have to record us playing through Terminator Salvation.
I was actually going to suggest that. I thought of that yesterday. I was like, okay, hey, I can get trophies out of that, and it would be hilarious.
Because I played through half of it. I did not want to play through the rest of it myself because I was not enjoying myself, and that's not a very good game. There's a lot of stuff we could say about that game. That would be
and you know
tons of
what?
fun.
Like, that could be a perfect episode of forced enjoyment. And also I'd get an ass load of gold trophies. So, hell
And
yes.
to this day, I don't have a platinum, and I think the only gold I got was finishing Skyrim's main story.
You have Infamous, right?
I do. The first Infamous, yes.
Yes, do that. It's easy. It's really easy.
I still don't have any platinums either. I wouldn't feel that bad. Like, I probably would have a platinum if Metal Gear Solid 4 had platinums from, like, the beginning. Then I'd probably have a platinum in that. But other than that, nope.
I have one in Infamous 1, one in Infamous 2, Ratchet and Clank and Crack in Time. What else do I have? Madden 10, Resistance Burning Skies, and Burnout Paradise. So those are my platinums.
Okay.
And
Let's shove back to news, because holy cow, this podcast.
News, yeah, man.
Like, this podcast
Okay.
is the longest in the universe.
So yeah, Dragon's Dogma major expansion coming. But Tokyo Game Show, and the big news from Tokyo has been Sony. There's a new PS3 model that I don't like the looks of.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Cool as shit. Like, I thought that looks so cool.
I don't like the look. I just am not a fan of shiny plastic, and for some reason, it just looks more like a food baker thingy than ever before.
It really does. Oh my gosh, I never thought of that, but it totally does. It looks like a George Foreman grill.
I was thinking of it like an oscillating fan. Like I was hoping it would double as a fan. That man, it could keep the console cool. It could keep me cool. Man, this is pretty awesome. But I don't think
Definitely
that's how it
doesn't look like a PS3.
I think it's fine. I mean,
I'm not gonna like. Oh no, it doesn't look like a PS3. Sony is doomed.
Now, obviously,
Right.
I
That's
don't.
fine.
Obviously, I don't buy game consoles based on the aesthetics. So,
right.
But I look at it, it's just like they really are desperate to save money, aren't they? Considering how deep in the hole Sony is right now. That's
Well,
just the
I
impression
don't-
I get from it.
I don't quite understand. Like, is it just to simply save costs on making more of these PS3s?
It's to cut cost, boost sales, because the only reason you get a slim model of a console is because it cuts costs, it's a quick sales boost, and they can have a price drop a little later.
Small, yeah. The price staying the same was weird too.
Yeah, okay, so this is what's going to happen. This holiday season is going to happen, and it's going to cost, and they're going to have their Uncharted bundle where you get the fucking, and their Assassin's Creed bundle. They have 2 bundles coming out. For $270, so $20 more, you get the Dust, blah, 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 weird numbers beta, and you get Uncharted 3 Game of the Year Edition, which is the game with all of its DLC, which, in my opinion, that's a fantastic bundle to get. And you get a month of PlayStation Plus. And then for $300, you can get the Assassin's Creed bundle, which is a 500 gig PS3, Assassin's Creed 3, and a month of PlayStation Plus.
Right. So basically,
Good deals.
Yeah. This new PlayStation model, I think, is on sale. It's going to be on sale very soon. There's the $269 250 gigabyte bundle, and then there is the $300 500 gigabyte model that's coming in late October.
Isn't there a EU only
Flash
memory
which is virtually useless if you should say, I don't know, play Gran Turismo.
Well, it's just like you can still drop your own hard drive in it. It's just like buying a 4 gigabyte Xbox when that was still around. Is it still around? I have no idea. Like the Xbox 360 Arcade or whatever they called it. Like it's the same as doing that, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So, hey, Bronson.
Yeah.
Great news! There is an exclusive coming to the PS3 in spring 2013. It's called Hyper Dimensions Neptunia Victory.
Oh Lord! Oh Lord! Don't you love JRPGs?
Dude, no, that game
are way more JRPG-y than most.
Okay, look, I played the original. That game was awful, and it continues to be awful.
What, you don't like Japan's pedophile simulators?
Not only like weird,
but it's
shit.
Like, come on! Don't you want to like look at all the pretty girls that are probably 18, maybe?
Right.
I know that's what you're all about, Bronson.
Oh, totally.
I was
You've been
there
going
with
to
you
those
at
parties.
that
I
party.
mean,
yeah.
man.
We went to that party.
Yeah. Oh, god damn it.
Young girl,
I
I
know
show you
you're
my
into the
Gangnam
two girls.
style.
Oh god.
Oh god. Joe, register as sex offenders now.
I know you're into that.
I know you are too. So.
Oh no, we really are going to jail.
So Joe and I will be buying and reviewing copies of Hyperdimension Step 2.
Yeah.
We're gonna co-op it online.
Yep.
We're gonna stream it to the FBI so that they know exactly what our crimes are.
Exactly.
We deserve this. We deserve all this butt sex we're gonna get in jail.
Oh man.
Deserve it all.
Let's move on.
Oh no, dude! I'm a big dude. I'm probably.
Oh god! Enough!
Okay.
Prison bitch here, and
Shut up!
no, we're gonna continue with this. And because you hang out with me, they wouldn't mess with you
Oh god!
until you're alone, and
Stream that stuff to the
Video
FBI.
games. This podcast is about video games.
Well, this is tangentially related to video games.
How is this at all?
Because Hyperneptunia.
Victory.
Oh,
Why are we talking about that?
Victory pedophiles.
Oh man.
Okay, in other news, there is another exclusive coming to North America for PlayStation. It is Generation Chaos Pandora's Reflection for PSP.
Wait.
That was so fast.
Yeah, it was really fast.
Blew past me like a hurricane. Repeat that.
Okay,
please.
there is another exclusive coming to North America in February
PSP.
2015 called Generation of Chaos Pandora's Reflection for the PSP.
Okay, not the Vita.
Not the Vita.
They don't want games on the Vita
What
because
is
that would be
the-
silly.
Well, apparently Japan does highly value the importance of the Vita by introducing red and blue colors.
Well,
Yeah, I saw. It's just like colors. Now it'll sell.
well, this
The
is
PSP's still selling, man. Whatever.
Yeah, this is what I have to say about the Vita in Japan. The number one selling game in Japan for the Vita, and it still is number one selling as far as I know as of 2 days ago, was Persona 4 The Golden. So as far as I'm concerned, good job, Japan.
Whenever Monster Hunter comes out, that will immediately become
Yeah, but lately it's been
the
sitting
top
on the.
selling.
Fucker.
Maybe he's been sitting on the Wii U and the 3DS. Big sellers.
That was just
And
really
guess what?
funny 'cause
Japan is
Anthony
getting a
was
Wii
talking
U,
about
and Japan is getting a Wii U bundle with Monster Hunter. Those systems will be gone
Monster
from
Hunter-
every store.
Yeah. Monster Hunter sells everything in Japan. If you want your console to sell, bundle it with Monster Hunter. Instantly, your system is hot shit.
Yep.
Great.
Okay. Also, Bronson and I, we like Yakuza 5.
Yeah.
You would love to hear that there's going to be 5 character stories in it.
Dude, that's awesome. Yakuza 4 was amazing, and I can't wait for the fucking new game. Awesome.
All right. More PlayStation news. PlayStation All-Stars will be digitally available if you are too lazy to go to the store and buy it.
Good.
Hey, I guess.
Hey, I'm totally
Just
down
let
for
your
everyone
system
moving
sit
to
there
digital.
just let your system sit there for like 2 hours to download the game and then take another 20 minutes to install it. Then another 20 minutes to patch it. Also,
Sorry.
also, Comet HD is coming to the PS3 in late October.
Great. We already talked about that. Go ahead.
And last PlayStation news, I think, is Final Fantasy 3 is coming to PSP next week.
Any updates on that, or is it just straight port?
I don't know. I didn't really read the article because I just felt like it was a bit of a funny news article. But
Well, no. I gotta know. If
I
they
don't
updated
think
it
it's going to
like
be
they
a
did with
straight.
the DS stuff where they made it all 3D and nice and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's always nice to see, even if it's not like a huge update to that game where it's like, oh my gosh, it's the best modern graphics ever. You know, just small updates even are nice.
Okay. Onwards, Microsoft is really really trying to enforce the fact that Xbox 360 is an entertainment system, one-stop entertainment place, and they have hired former CBS executive Nancy Tellem to oversee creation of interactive and linear Xbox Live content. This involved
Anthony, please stop. Just you're hurting me.
Yeah, that
You're
hurts
hurting me.
a little bit. It's like
and
video
they have a
games.
new studio in Los Angeles dedicated to this stuff.
Anthony, you're hurting me. Please stop.
this ouch. Like
All right. We already talked about this on the Scripted Access, but basically the co-founders of BioWare have retired.
Co-founders of something.
BioWare co-founders have retired. Ray Mazuka is going to focus on learning about human rights and civil liberty across the world, whereas Greg Zeschuk is going to focus on craft beer and run a show called The Beer Diaries.
You know what? Good for them.
Yeah,
You know,
they're pretty much
everyone-
moving away from gaming.
Follow. They're done with gaming. Good. You know, they got their thing in. I think BioWare will be fine. And honestly, if they spiral into the sun, there'll be someone competent to take their place.
And a lot of fans have reacted with "Rest in Peace, BioWare" because of EA's reputation.
Well, what I say to that is you really don't care about BioWare if you're a fan of them, if you were one of the people complaining about the Mass Effect ending.
It's just more like Electronic Arts, giant corporation, most hated company in America.
Yeah, well, I don't blame them for hating EA. They do it.
Yeah. Last small news story, Dragon Age 3 Inquisition has been announced. No details other than the fact that it exists and for unannounced systems. They haven't said which system it's coming for.
I can't imagine it being anything but a multi-plat.
Yeah.
That game sells really well, so it is what it is.
Okay, that's all the news I have.
All right, well, I guess that is on to questions, comments, etc.
Alrighty.
We actually have comments this week on the podcast. I absolutely adore the Walking Dead franchise. I was really concerned it would be a fluke, but boy, I was wrong. Yeah, great game.
Well, yeah.
I got the review code for the PC version and went into it and I was like, zombie game, point-and-click adventure zombie game. This is going to suck. And
But then you didn't realize that it was Telltale. and that means it's glorious.
Well, Telltale, when I look at it, it's just like, is it really that good? Because when I think Telltale, I think of those Back to the Future commercials that put.
Those were fine.
I know, but it didn't look too great. And I was like, never mind.
Okay. Anyway, continuing. So yeah, I'm honestly concerned about the Wii U's success, in part to its higher than usual price, the lack of multi-gamepad support at launch, and even with the implemented decreased visuals and the more complicated implementation of the gamepad smartly with the gameplay. I hope I am wrong, though. I think that it's going to be a lot like the DS. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's cool that uses it, and a lot of stuff that succeeds in spite of it.
Yeah, it's they're being so experimental, and it's still really ballsy because, I mean, like the Wii had a semi-rocky start, at least with the getting some good games out that were really using the Wii's controller properly instead of just trying to make a game normally and then just having to use the Wii U controller, or the Wii controller rather. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of that still, but developers have gotten better at making games specifically for the Wii. So I can't see them, being as afraid of the Wii U as they were of the Wii when it first came out.
Yeah, and the thing is if you manage to keep development costs down, you can actually make a pretty good profit on Wii games, as shown by No More Heroes, Muramasa, and a couple other games. Like, they made profit on those games because the Wii was not an HD system, and they were able to keep costs down. In fact, on the show we're creating soon, I swear I'm going to film the first episode soon, Bronson rants. On the first episode, I'm probably going to do an episode on how games prices are asinine and way too high, right? And the cost to make games is too high. Anyway, the last comment on concerning the show is, haha, I haven't had a dream in months, but you guys, LOL.
Yeah, that dream was awesome, and I'm a very dreamless person, or I don't remember any of the dreams when I wake up. So I just happened to remember that one when I woke up, and wow.
Yeah.
Just one of those.
Of course,
things.
Unfortunately, probably not a good idea that I remembered it because I was really depressed that my day wasn't that awesome.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Anyway, this next thing is a comment on my new Super Mario Brothers 2 review. And I'm mainly reading this just because I found it funny.
Okay.
I gave it an 8 out of 10, saying it's a lot of fun, but it's, gets kind of stale after a while, and it's really a lot of the same old shit. Great review, but I saw nothing wrong with this game. 8 isn't a good enough score. Heck, I'd even trouble agreeing with a 9. This game is perfect in every way, and sure, it's a lot like New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but I like that game, and it's like having a New Super Mario Bros. Wii portable. Plus, there's a lot of new stuff in the game, like rainbow levels, Dash Mario levels, new power-ups, bosses, and environments and backgrounds. And replayability is top-notch. Other than that, great review, dude. How many coins do you have? I have around 20,000, smiley face. So the reason I found this funny is he's like, great review. I don't agree with you, but great review.
Hey,
he's keeping his happy mood, okay? At least he's not saying it's like, this review is absolute garbage or biased against Mario because I find the replayability to be amazing, and then they just rage on.
I'm happy that there's nice people on the internet.
Yeah, he says yeah, you gave good points, but I kindly disagree with it, and here's why I think this game is perfect.
It's just I disagree, and here's why. How many coins did you get? I got 20,000. Happy face.
I got
coin rush.
Yeah, I think when I finished, I got 18,000. So there's your.
Wow.
My problem with that game is, one, the multiplayer is broken as fuck. So here's the thing: if you ever played it on the Wii, the camera mainly follows player one, which is fine because you're all playing on one TV. But on the 3DS, you're playing on 2 separate systems. But guess what? The camera only follows player one.
This is like the Smash Brothers problem, isn't it? In which only players follow one, and you have to push the start button if you're player 2 and you fell behind.
Basically, except that's acceptable because you're both on the same screen. This really isn't fucking acceptable when you're on two separate screens.
You sound really frustrated about this. Really, really frustrated. Did you have to play as player 2 all day at PAX?
Yeah, okay. Like, I kept joining people's games, and instead of hosting a game, I kept joining games, and fuck.
It just scarred you for life? PAX ruined Mario for me.
Yeah, like, just, oh, God.
I'm just gonna go cry now.
Like, I still love Mario, but...
Damn you, PAX!
That was really annoying. There's, like, that, and the game is really easy. Like, even for... Like, and if you do suck at the game, they give you this suit to where the only thing that can kill you is getting crushed or falling in a pit.
Wow, seriously?
Super Mario 3D Land does the same thing, but you have to die 20 times to get it.
Yeah, well, this is like you have to die like 6 times.
That more and more, where it's just like, how do I do this? Here you go, nerd. Do it. Oh, you still can't do it, even though I showed you exactly how to do it? Oh, let me just do it for you.
Like, like I said, the grind for coins is one big part of the game. There's coin rush mode. There's a bunch of different new items that make it so you can get coins.
Oh boy, car. Oh, that one was intense. Had that dubstep blaring.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I could feel it. I could feel it before I could hear it. Which is, oof.
Like you could you can turn to gold Mario and throw a fireball and it turns everything into gold. The main problems are way easy, stupid easy. Not really the levels aren't as well designed as the Wii version was.
Is there a point to the coins at all aside from like self gratification?
The goal is to get 1 million.
Like, and then what do you get?
You get a new title screen and like a certificate.
Wow,
saying that
is such an achievement.
So it's really artificial replayability.
Yeah,
it's not really replayability. It's like, grind for coins because we have this arbitrary reward that doesn't really matter.
It's like that, and to fucking get to unlock the fucking bonus levels, basically. Like that's the point. Like it's a good game. It's just not as good. It's not what you want from a Mario game as far as like every time you play a new Mario, it's a pretty fresh experience. Like, for a series this old, they always manage to breathe a lot of new life into it. And this is the first time I've ever felt like, man, this is well made, but I'm not feeling it.
I don't know. It just seemed kind of cheap to me when they announced it and like announced what the new thing was going to be. It's going to be coins and like it just seemed sort of cheap to me. As someone driving off from the driveway.
Is Ashton still here?
I am. I'm just
okay.
It's
really
an exhausting
tired, right?
It's an exhausting podcast.
This time. I swear, I must be at 3.5 hours right now.
We're nearing it.
Let's continue then. Let's just
let's keep going.
On. All right. So we had the Mario comment, and then we talked about it. What's next?
Okay, so final thing is a question I pulled off of a forum, and it is basically, what is your opinion on reviews, review scores, and reviews versus criticism?
Okay, so I'll start, I guess. For reviews, it's
something you cut out.
Sorry.
And he cut out again.
God damn it. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Is it good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So when you're looking for a review, there's 2 types of reviews you see, and it already was sort of answering the question, is criticism and a review. I really don't like reviews that sort of just bullet point and tell you what's in the game, and that's a review, I guess. But I don't want to know like what's in the game. I want your critique of why it was good and for what reasons it was good or bad, of course. So I much prefer when it's a critique rather than just a bullet point review.
The thing you have to remember is everyone wants an objective review, like, because people don't know the meaning of the word fucking objective. Okay?
No, see, the thing is that...
you want to know what an objective review is? If I review a game objectively, it has sound. You can listen to it unless you are deaf.
No,
Okay,
they want,
here's
no,
my
they
idea.
don't- they-
Here's my idea for an objective review. Okay, guys, I'm gonna review this game. It's good, it's middle, and it sucks all at the same time. You pick which one.
like I don't want like
Sorry,
a reviewer that hates something to review it, and at the same time I don't want someone who loves that thing to just gush about it for 3 paragraphs and not really say anything about it. I'm fine when, like, it's a good game but that reviewer doesn't like it, but as long as they explain why they feel that way, sort of a thing. It's that's the kind of review that I want to read. I want to read the review of someone who has written to me intelligently about the things that they experienced and what those things made them feel, whether it was fun or boredom or all those things. I really think
my thing is, I feel as though that there's a difference between critique and review. Like like writing for a site, we are writing as consumer advice with a review. Like that is our first priority. That's what we should be concerned about. When I write a review, my first thought is not, how did this make me feel? Versus like, okay, is this a good game to me? Does it work well? Is it fun?
Those things go into that, though. Someone reviewing something and saying this game had these elements and this is the way that they made me feel is going to tell a person a lot about what that game is or isn't, and if it's something that they might want to buy. God damn it. Jesus.
Ashton.
But like,
Yeah, I hear it. I hear it.
Well, I just want your opinion on this because you write reviews also. So.
Oh, I do that kind of thing, don't I?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really think too hard about, am I reviewing, am I criticizing? I'm just, I'm writing how I felt about it. I try to consider how that may be different from the general public, and if I think objectively if it's good or not. And I have the people in mind, and that's all I really think about.
Yeah, that's like the thing I always gotta remember is like, okay, for my first priority is I have to write how I felt about the game. Obviously, like, did it play good? Etc. 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 But I'm also writing for the consumer, so like fucking, I have to remember that okay, I got this game for free, but would I pay $60 for it?
Well, that's not as big of an issue for me.
Okay, I got The Walking Dead for free, but would I pay the $25 for a season pass?
I really think the big problem with game reviews as they are is that most of the time they are sort of that bullet point thing where it's like, oh, this game was fun, the controls were tight, the graphics were really good. Like, it's just they all are very samey, and we don't really have like a language to talk about games with that's really developed. When you look at like a book review or a movie review, it's very eloquent, and you know what they're talking about because there's those terms that they've developed to critique those movies. And it's much more. It gives you a lot more information about it in a way that isn't like, oh, this movie was good, the action scenes were cool, I cried at the sad part. Like, that's a shit review, and you see that kind of thing a lot in game reviewing.
The thing about reviews is it gets very difficult when you do a review because when you say something is bad, you have an entire world of metaphors to pick from to say that how something is bad. In Bronson's case, he would say something is a grease fire. In my case, I would say it is absolute garbage and should probably go out and get kicked. But when you say something is good, you really run out of metaphors, and you can't really use metaphors without sounding like Jeremy Clarkson. So what I do to try and make reviews more interesting is don't say, oh, it's good. Well, anybody can say it's good.
Exactly.
So I dive into the thesaurus, or go into more detail as to why it's good.
Exactly. It needs to be more than just like, oh, it was good because
It's fun.
this, and this.
It's fun. Like I hear
Yeah,
phrases all the time.
fun.
Like it's good. It's fun. It's innovative. Well, everyone used those words so they get beat to death so much that they lose their effect. Oh, it is the experience was special. Well, everyone has said special ability times. It's emotional. Well, everyone's used emotional for anything that has happiness and sadness in the same story.
Cut out.
Yep.
What?
You guys love Skype? Because I do.
Yeah, Skype's the best.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
If
My
only we
uploads,
had
my
something
upload, my,
else.
my upload's been terrible. Basically, I say it's just like anybody can say anything's emotional, that kind of stuff.
Well, we can go the emotional argument. Like, what makes games emotional?
Oh yeah,
But-
frickin' Jimquisition gave me another realization factor right there.
Yeah,
The realization machine.
But
But maybe I'll talk about that once we finish going through this. But
yeah,
something I
so-
kind of think about is like a review and a critique.
there's a difference between those two.
I'm just gonna say
Critique is
that.
what you felt about the game artistically,
I
and
don't think that's true at all.
well, there's
A review is like
a review.
you're reviewing
perfect.
what's in the game, and you're giving like a general overview. And I really think that game reviews are more of game critiques in general. But you know, I prefer to think of them as critiques, anyways, and they should be. Like a game review shouldn't just be like, oh, this game had these things in it, and
Well,
compared
yes,
to this,
because
it was this.
That
like-
gives you no fucking consistent
Exactly.
advice
And-
whatsoever.
And a
The first-
critique tells you why this person, this reviewer, this critique, or this critic, good lord, this critic, enjoyed this game and for what reasons and what they felt and what you might get out of it. It tells you some of the things that this person got out of it, and that gives you a clue as to what you can get out of it. That's what it should be.
Yeah. Now, my big thing is score.
Yeah, that's
Okay, I just want to say that when it comes to score systems, there's only two kinds that I prefer. First off, a score is read like a school grade in my mind, which means like anything in the 7 range is like a C, which is okay. B's is good. B's is very good, but you could do better.
And you just described the problem with the internet and game
That's
reviews.
exactly what I was going to get into.
Huge.
That everyone sees it as a grading system, like in schools, but almost always reviewers, when they have it on their site, when they explain their review score system, it's almost always 5 is a mediocre game, like a C grade in school is a 5 in a review, and we see it as a 5 in a review is an F, because that's what it is in our school system. And it's horrible, because any game that gets less than a 7 is immediately just garbage in people's heads.
For me, that's how it usually is. I've played games that have been rated around a 6, and they are actually bad.
No, but the thing is that reviewers do it too. They always review it like it's a grade point system rather than a 10-point scale. And that's why I prefer when it's either a 5-point system, a letter grade system, or something like that, where it's something more.
But the thing is that you grow up being literally trained and drilled into your brain that if you don't get at least a 70% of those tests, you aren't doing a very good job in your class. That stuff gets drilled into you from grade school.
Maybe
exactly
for you.
Maybe and this is why I don't like. Okay, fine. Like that's how I see the 10-point system. But the other thing I have, but the main problem I have with the 10-point system is people get extremely picky about the difference between an 8 and an 8.5. So they get so picky about those little nudges, 0.5 nudges, that I thought to myself, why not just use a 5-star system? 1 star is terrible, 2's 3's okay, 4's good, 5 is great, you should buy it.
Yeah, I
Like
very
the
much
5-star
prefer
system.
a 5-point system or a letter grade system on reviews. I think it's much more. It's not as precise, but that's not the goddamn point. I don't need like, oh, this game got an 8.387654. That means it's better
This
than this
game
game
got
because
high
it's, you know,
for a score.
it's 0.10% better, so it must be better. You know, like it's so precise, and
People get
that's
very
not
picky.
how reviews work. You can't like objectively say that this game is 0.33% better than this game.
What irritates me so much is like I said earlier, the objective opinion. Like, you're just like, you have too much of your opinion in this. Motherfucker, you can't write a review or a critique, whichever you prefer, without that. Like I said earlier, an objective review is saying it has sound.
You runs on a disc.
It runs on a disc.
It's a game.
Has graphics. It has a story.
When people say that, though, they mean more that they felt like you were giving the game an unfair shake.
You know what? You want to know what they?
You know what? That's just
they
how
are
the
mad
world
at. No,
works.
what they are mad at is they bought the game already, spent $60, and liked it, and they are mad that I am saying their purchase is not worthy. That is what they are saying. Yeah.
Well, that's just how the world works, though. Because here's the thing, okay? And this is another thing that I don't quite like is when a person gets accused of bias. I don't think there is such thing as
of being biased, of being biased. You mean? Well,
of being
Yeah.
biased. But I don't think there's
No. My favorite thing is this was on IGN once. I just like your bias. Just you are the embodiment of bias on this earth. War, famine, pestilence.
What you mean
bias.
escapist, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, bias.
I can't even use the word right. But when someone say that I am biased, okay, I kind of look at it like, well, no one's truly unbiased. It's just we all have our preferences. It's just how things are.
And you know what? I just realized,
And,
realized another reason you couldn't write an unbiased review. You know how we put screenshots in our reviews?
Yes.
You have to pick those screenshots. Therefore, you're biased towards those screenshots.
Like, how do you have something that is not biased? A computer?
Well, no, like seriously,
Because then all a computer ever can work with is numbers.
It's one of those things where I know that the original meaning is not what they're using, but they're using the
they
word.
don't know the meaning
No,
of the
shut
word.
up. Language evolves and changes. It's not a bad thing when people start using words and they mean something different than the way that they're using it. It's not a bad thing. It's just the way language changes and evolves. It's not a bad thing. Stop it. That when they say that you're being biased, they don't mean oh, you need to be objective. Like,
but no,
shut up.
What
shut
about
up.
when they
Let me
say
finish.
you need
Shut up.
to be
Shut the fuck
objective?
up.
Go ahead.
Shut up.
Go ahead.
God damn it. Shut up.
Joe, jeez, hang on, man. What are you doing?
I have to get this point across. When they want you to be objective, they mean like they don't want you to be like, oh, this game is it was made by these people or this person or it has this writer or it has this or this and therefore I don't like it. They want you to take the game on its own merits with no outside influences like, oh man, this company put out a shit game last year, so this game must be shit. They just want
so assumptions is the problem.
But the thing is, I'm a professional, or at least I try to be, so I don't do that. And they're like, and I really love seeing the comment of you need to write an objective review.
Some people, yes, they have it wrong, and they think that you're being biased or non-objective.
I just think they're saying that because you just
wrong.
simply. Some people they just say these things because your opinion doesn't agree with theirs.
No, that's completely
like
true.
if I
Some
say
people
right now,
like that.
I say I don't like Halo 3. People would, and pretty much the rest of the world does. They would think I'm crazy and that I've been brainwashed by JRPG demons to not like Halo 3. Or something like that. But to me, I just don't like shooters. It's just how I am, and I can't really quite change that.
I mean that's why. And the thing is, when assigning reviews, we typically try and get a person who knows that genre or knows that style of game.
Yeah, like I like it that way because it's like, okay, I'm a fan of JRPGs and you are a fan of RPGs. I would like to recommend a game to you. You don't have to buy it, but I would like to say this is good.
Exactly.
Hey, for example, in the last story review, I said this is an artistically driven game. You can tell from the way I wrote it that if you highly value your gameplay mechanics, this might not work for you. But as an artistic game, it works great. If you like that, I would like to recommend it to you.
I mean, in my Mario review, I exactly said, like first off, we assign reviews by taste. Like, okay, 2D platformers are usually going to go to Ashton, unless, I really like the concept behind it, and puzzle games typically going to go Ashton's way, where first-person shooters and action-adventure games are typically going to go my way, and...
Action-adventure is one of those broad genres that actually it depends on the franchise.
JRPGs will go Anthony or I. MMOs almost always go to me. I've noticed shooters usually go to me, which is weird.
And shooters, and here's another thing too. Shooters will never go to me because I'm not a fan of the genre. Therefore, I don't think that it will. Like the only shooter there are only two shooters I ever like. That's Battlefront 2 and Halo Reach. All the other shooters, I'd say it's like, here's a gun, go from point A to point B, shoot anything that shoots at you, and multiplayer. Great.
But I think
that's not like I wouldn't be a one you would want to give you advice on whether to buy a shooter or not.
Exactly, and that's why we don't get. That's why you're not reviewing Call of Duty and I am. That's exactly why. It's like. Everyone's like, oh, he doesn't like the genres, but no, we don't, any site with a fucking brain, which is most of them, and especially the bigger ones, are going to assign reviews that way. Fucking a perfect example of this, Ashton likes kind of puzzle-style platformers like Fez, so he's going to review Braid and Fez, I like weird Japanese action-adventure games, No More Heroes is going to me. Anthony likes traditional JRPGs. He's going to get, like he said, the last story of Xenoblade Chronicles. That's how it works. We're not going to... we're not going to give fucking... another example is people know Nick, his taste in games. We're not going to give Nick...
we're not going to give Nick Catherine.
Catherine, exactly. Uza. Thank you, Anthony.
Uh-huh.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
And, we're going to be reassigning our reviews for the holiday season coming up this next week. And I've kind of got my general idea of what I'd like to pick. And I kind of got a general idea of what's going to go to each person. Some things are going to change, obviously, but still, I got a general idea of what's going on because I know everyone's taste and what everyone likes to review. Our staff is really short on people who can review MOBAs or RTS games, though.
I can do that, even though I'm going in the Navy. Just kidding. But I can do that maybe when I get back.
Another point that I wanted to bring up is that this is just how I do my reviews. When I review a game, I want to make it very clear that it is my opinion on a game. When I write reviews, you would notice that I use words like I or
which you're not. I would just like to say, as a journalist, you're not supposed to use the word I.
I know that. Well, I know that, but I don't really.
We try to do the giant bomb kind of thing, where they're clearly people who listen to this podcast, who have listened to Unscripted Access, watch Nick's Gaming View. They are attracted to more our personalities. There's news. We're giving news, but you can get news anywhere. They come for our take on it. That's why I feel it's okay to add a personal take on all of our reviews.
I'm not saying that fucking you shouldn't use I. But I
understand that in the world of professional business and journalism, you don't use second person or first person.
Right, yeah.
You don't use I, me, we, our. You don't use that.
You try to avoid using it. I shouldn't say you never use it.
I know. In the case of a review, I kind of treat game journalism, the kind of casual thing. But in the case of review, I kind of feel like it's very important to stress that this is my opinion. This is what I think of the game. You don't have to believe me.
See, if I was going to be a smartass like my journalism teacher, or professor, I should say, I would say, well, of course it's your opinion. You're the one writing it. And because it's not an objective review, because there's no such fucking thing, therefore it's already your opinion. But yeah,
it's just whenever I feel like on the internet in which just about
it's just it. Like even I use I. Like I'll pull up my Mario.
Like how else am I supposed to describe the last story in insane attention to detail that made me want to think that the world actually wanted to happen? This world feels like it existed in the real world. Well, that's kind of implying to everybody that they're going to get this experience that the last story existed in the real, feels like it existed in the real world. But I want to say that this is why.
Well, they know you felt it because you're the one writing the review.
But I can't. But
nobody's going to get mad at you for like using
when I phrase it differently.
Yeah.
When I phrase it, the last story makes you feel that it existed. That
it truly existed in reality. There you go.
But then people would just take that as like, oh, so I will get that experience, and nah, that's not like that.
Well, they won't take it as well. They know that you did that. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't use I because
I don't know. On the internet, in which just about anything written can get attacked by just about everybody, I feel like it's really important to stress the whole personal opinion part, not to mention.
Right now I'm looking through,
and I don't really quite treat my reviews as professional journalism.
I'm not gonna fault you for using I. I'm not gonna fault anyone here for using I. But I'm saying that if we were working for, like IGN, that they'd bust our ass over. Now I use I twice in my Mario review. I can understand this when it was on the Wii, but not on the 3DS where there are two separate devices. And I used it again here when it says, I imagine even if you did all the bonus and secret levels, you would not even come close. So if you ever want to reach the lofty goal of 1 million coins, you will need to grind for coins. So
I don't know. It's just I understand in the professional world you definitely can't use I because that makes you definitely unprofessional. But it's just when I write a review, I just kind of felt like maybe the reader would better understand how I felt when I say.
But they know how you felt.
I know that because it's my author, and my name is the author of the whole article. But it's just, ugh.
Like you are the author of the article, and if they say you need to be objective, you slap them because they don't know the meaning of the word.
And then I slap you because you don't like language. And how it changes.
Oh, shut up.
Yes, there are people who use that and they're just straight up wrong because they think something is completely different than it is, or they think you're not being objective when in fact they are not being objective. There are those people, but recognize what they probably mean. And, I think the main point is that reviews for games, they definitely have room to grow. There's a lot of room here to get much, much better at describing our games through text and video and all that. There's room to grow, and I'm sure you guys will keep striving for it.
God, that was long. Oh, God. So, any other comments on reviews, people?
Crazy, you liked my video review? Thanks. I wish I could do more video reviews, but games just don't really quite come out over the summer, and when they do start coming out, I'm stuck in the middle of my college semester. So
this is why you should all post comments telling Anthony to just go into journalism full time like the rest of us, and make $40,000 a year and live in a tiny apartment. Anyway, so before we head out, I'm going to say next week we're going to try and get a special guest on the a special guest journalist on the site. Then we have another special guest that's just a friend of mine.
So they're both me.
No.
Are you sure? That sounds like me. I'm definitely a journalist, and I'm definitely your friend, so they're both just me.
Okay, well,
Other.
are you a female?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, well. Oh, this is weird then.
You didn't know? Wow.
No.
Embarrassing for you.
All these years. Why
Awkward.
were you in the men's locker room in PE?
No reason. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Okay, so, but next week we're going to have 2 guests. One's a friend of mine. One is a colleague, I guess you could say. And we're also going to have Joe, him too.
I guess.
Hopefully. So, yeah. And I have a recommendation for everyone to go check out 2 things if they liked our review topic. The first one is, they're both on the Escapist right now. They're from the Escapist Expo. One is called the Escapist Expo, How to Review Games, which if you are interested in game journalism, want some insight into the job in general, watch that. And the other one I would recommend is the Escapist Expo, The Hour of Love, which if you pay attention to our site, you know we pay attention to Yahtzee and Jim Sterling a lot, and they just have nothing but hateful things to say about everything. It's an entire hour where people present them with topics, and they have to say nothing but positive things. And it's hilarious.
Don Matrick.
Fuck you, Anthony.
We did this already. We're done. No
We're gonna
old
do this.
material.
Yeah, we're gonna do this as a site for our site too, by the way. So.
Unscripted access, that would be good. We'll just have a segment in which we just, each of us take a turn of having to say something positive about something.
Yep. Hey,
I'm
Ashton,
kind of anxious to wonder what mine would be, so.
hey, Ashton, leveling in World of Warcraft.
It kills time.
Hey, Bronson.
Okay, go Joe.
Level design in Final Fantasy 13. Nothing. You can't even say anything.
You know what?
Give me a
I
sec.
can.
You can't. I
I
figured
can
out one.
play it with one hand.
You got me.
Yeah, and then there's another one. You can't get lost.
Yep, there you go.
All right. Let me think of one for Anthony. All right. Let me think of one.
There's only one that I could think of.
Gears of War 2 multiplayer.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking. When it works, it's quite fun. Which
That was
is
like such
almost...
a backhanded compliment.
No. I remember he presented one to Jim Sterling at Yahtzee. So that's like best modern 3D non-Sonic adventure game. And Yahtzee is like, I just love how qualified that statement was. Not best game, not best Sonic game, not best 3D Sonic game, not best 3D Sonic adventure game, best modern Sonic 3D non-adventure game. But Joe, you do another one. Let's do a couple more of these. These are funny.
Oh man, are you kidding? We're burning through everything here. Come on.
Yeah.
No.
Gotta save it. No. This is good material, and you should save it for that particular podcast. I think it would be better at that point.
I want to burn one on Joe real quick.
All right,
here.
last one.
Oh dear.
I mean, I need to think of a good one for Joe.
Anything from Final Fantasy 13 is a good one for me because I just
Yeah,
loathe
that's
that
what I was
game.
I'm trying to think of another game you fucking hate though.
Let's see here. Games I hate. God damn, can't even think of any right now.
All right. Hope from Final Fantasy 13.
Oh man, it's a good one. Like if
Um,
you told me that, I would freaking hate it.
let's see here. He uses a boomerang, and that is an interesting weapon that you do not see very often.
Let's see, if I had to ask for hope, I would probably say From a gameplay perspective, he's actually not a bad party member. If you were to say it from a purely story perspective, I don't have anything positive to say.
Another backhanded compliment.
All right. I want you guys to do one more for me.
No, damn it. You gotta save him.
This podcast has gone long enough. I don't.
Yeah.
Seriously. I'm done.
Jesus.
Like, let's just be done.
I love you guys
your shit.
listening, but man,
It was
this is
like
something.
It was like, okay, one last one for Joe. Last one. Oh wait, no, one more. No,
I can't think
that
of
was
one for
it.
Bronson,
No,
so we might
that
as well
was it.
stop here.
Yeah, there is nothing else, Bronson. You
All
get
right.
Bronson,
nothing.
video games.
I like video games a lot.
Oh,
And that's it for today's video
There you
game
go.
podcast. Video
wait.
games are video games. Video games, video games. Good
Video
night.
games and visual novels.
And
yeah.
Video games and visual novels.
Oh.
Like Persona 4 Arena.
All right.
Okay, so this has been
Anthony Ta.
Ashton Holiday.
Joe Litz.
and Bronson Fiori. Thank you for listening, everybody. We love you so much.
Bye.
Mwah.
What a
Mwah.
moment.
Later, sexy bitches.
Mwah.
Now let's go to a party, okay?
Mwah.
Yeah.
Mwah. 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 Kisses. Mwah. Mwah.
That's good enough, Joe.
Has he stopped recording yet?
I certainly hope so.